What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode and live stream of Let's Get Nuts here on the Ben Thomas Show. Thanks for coming back, guys. It's been 3 whole weeks since our last Let's Get Nuts. I am feeling rusty, but I was missing you guys. We have a great panel of folks with us here today. We are going to talk a little bit about all of the Hot Toys news, that J&D $1,800 set versus the Hot Toys one. We're going to go in on that Wonder Woman a little bit. We also want to talk about physical media, right? Let's debate it a little bit. Do you guys still collect physical media? And when do you make the choice? Are you fearing that the favorite nostalgic punch in the chest stuff is going to go away eventually if you don't collect it? So guys, we're going to talk a lot today. I'm excited to have you back. Let's get nuts on the Sunday. I love your faces. Let's do it.
What are you doing? You're completely outnumbered here. Are you nuts? You want to get nuts? You want to get nuts?
You want to get nuts?
You want to get nuts? You want to get nuts? Come on. Let's get nuts. Let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts. Let's get nuts.
Alrighty, welcome back. Welcome back. Getting nuts on Sunday with you guys. Love to see it. I want to bring in a couple of great folks. First and foremost, let's bring in one of our best and brightest co-hosts, Mr. One Adam 12, back in the house again. Good to see you, buddy. How you doing, man?
Ben, great to see you. So good to be back after a couple of weeks here and ready to go. We got some awesome topics for tonight. Looking forward to having some great discussions.
Hell yeah, dude. A couple weeks ago, you were at, it looked like some kind of fan expo or something, getting pictures like crazy with different celebrities and stuff. And was there any like crazy standout moments that you had?
Yeah, we went to the fan expo in Boston and we met Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor. And
Cool.
probably the standout moment was actually meeting John Rhys Davies, who played Sala and Gimli in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And just he took a lot of time to talk with me and my wife and daughter, and just a really down-to-earth guy. Love talk, probably like 10 minutes just talking to him. And he,
That's awesome.
Signed an autograph, took pictures. Really loved that guy.
He gave you a hug, I think, in one of the photos, right? Like, did I see that, or
So-
was like
so
you were giving him
he
a
did.
hug? Or yeah,
Well, it was funny because my wife, he took a picture with all three of us and my wife and daughter, and then he kind of made a joke. Oh, the dads they're there for the ATM. They're the cash machine. And so I was telling him just like very briefly, that how my dad and I used to love going to the Indiana Jones, certainly the original Indiana Jones film, seeing him opening weekend, and how much joy my father passed away in January. How much joy his role as Sala at the comic relief, and that how much that brought to my dad. And so he gave me like this big hug. He's like, I lost my dad not too long ago, and I know how it is, and gave me a big hug.
crazy, man. That's awesome. That's I mean, like sad reason, but like at the same time also really cool connection, right? So, and he was if I'm not mistaken, he was also in Sliders back in the
He
day,
was
I
in
think, right?
Sliders. Yeah.
I
He's
loved him in
been-
Sliders, dude.
I did too. Yeah.
Yeah.
You think about these actors and the creators, and we collect the Hot Toys and 1/6 and Legos and whatever you collect. It's that nostalgia, and it brings you. Sometimes you have those family connections. Some members of your family get you into science fiction or comic books or what have you. And certainly my dad wasn't as much into it. He was into the joy I had from these things, and he loved taking me to the comic book store and to the conventions and going to Toys R Us and getting me action figures. So it was that special connection. So when I surround myself in this man cave home office here of a collection room, it allows me to be a little bit closer to my father. And so it's special. And I always feel like these guys are professionals. They're doing their jobs as entertainers when you go to a convention. I'm respectful of their time, but I also want to just convey my thanks and gratitude for what they did to give me a little bit of joy in life. And that's
Hell
so
yeah, dude.
important.
Well said, man. Well said. Great intro for Mr. One Adam 12. Thanks for sharing, buddy, as always. It was weird because for me, it was my mom that got me into all the nerdum that I'm surrounded by. My dad doesn't really get it. Even when I tell him about YouTube and stuff now, he's like, "Oh, that's really cool, son. Like that sounds good." But like he doesn't get it. So it's the way she goes, man. It's the way she goes. Let's bring in our next set of guests today. They have just returned from a wonderful place called Lithuania, our friends Vida and Jim. Welcome back to your collection room and your homestead. Happy to see you guys. How are you guys, and how was your trip? How's everything in life?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. I think I enjoyed the trip more than you did, didn't I?
Well, it's not like I didn't enjoy. It's more tiresome for me than for Jim.
For her, it's going home. For me, it's basically just not having to talk to anyone for like a week and getting fed lots of food and beer. So,
And for me, it means talking two languages at all times. So I did
Right.
my classic thing where I woke up in the morning, went to the kitchen, and was chatting with my mum. And I was just responding to her in English. And James like saying to me, like, you just spoke to her in English. And I was carrying on like speaking English. And he was like, you still speaking English? Stop. And then I was like, oh, mum, I need a coffee. And then we can start the morning.
yeah.
It's like
he was-
it's like getting your Switch stuck, right? It's like
Yeah.
the translation button. It's stuck.
Yeah, especially in the morning or like late evenings. That's where my
Sure.
brain would just get so puzzled that I'm just like, can we just not talk and just
I have no
like,
idea how you do it. To be fair, like my brain can barely focus on English, and you can do two at the same time.
Mhm.
So it's insane.
Yeah, that's
I dated,
that's something the
I-
only aspect why it's like aspect why it's more like
Yeah.
tiresome for me, but it still was great to see like the friends and family.
Oh, of course, of course. I dated a Persian woman at one point, and there'd be occasionally where she'd wake up in the middle of the night and say something to me, but she would say it in Farsi. And I'd be like, I don't understand what you're saying, honey. She'd be like, and she'd say it again. I'm like, I still don't know what you're saying. So it happens to the best of us, it sounds like. But guys, I am happy that you had at least a decent trip, and I'm glad you're back home safe and everything. Sounded like it was kind of cold over in Lithuania a little bit there, and some rainy days. So not always
Yeah,
the best.
yeah.
But
It's like the
Where she
worst
goes.
summer in I don't know whatever years it is. Like my parents were
things happen.
saying they're very sad because there's no summer this year, and I was like, oh really? It's just been like a heat wave last 2 weeks in England, and I had enough of it.
Yeah, I just told him it's basically, this is how England is. So just enjoy it and get used to it.
just enjoy it, get used to it. Guys, welcome back. Thanks so much. We got lots to talk about today. So we'll bring in our next panelist here. We got the Vintage Rebellion podcast, Mr. Chris, back in the house. Good to see you, buddy. How you doing, man?
Hey man, happy to make my roughly quarterly appearance on the show. You got some interesting news today and a full panel. I'm excited, man. Looks good.
Yeah. I'm especially excited to chat and get all of your opinions on the physical media discussion as well, because I know the majority of us as collectors still collect it to a certain extent, but what's the reason for why? And I'll be curious to hear what you guys have to say about that. But dude, so happy to have you back as always. You're looking crispy, you sounding crispy, so I'm excited for that there. We do have Pete in the back as well, but his camera is off, so we will bring him in here in just a second unless he can hear us. But we'll get the slides going either way here right away. And then I apologize, guys, if I'm a little rusty on the buttons today. StreamYard has changed the whole setup of itself, and like I don't know why they took something that was working just fine and entirely destroyed it. So if I'm rusty on any of my buttons, that's the reason for why. But let's get warmed up here. Avengers Doomsday, the rumored second round of casting. All these pretty faces here up on the screen, and I was interested. I don't remember a time back in the Infinity War days and the Endgame days where I felt like Marvel felt like it was necessary to tease who was necessarily going to be in the film. In fact, one of the standout moments, of course, of Endgame is that scene where everybody comes out of the portal and you're like, holy shit, look at everybody, like all of the Avengers are here, like that is wild. And it was such a crazy, shocking moment in theaters. But I felt like if I'd known all of those people were going to be in the movie, it might have actually been slightly anticlimactic. And so I was curious, is there any people here on the screen that you're really excited or hope make a return to the screen in Doomsday? But what do you guys also think about the fact that they're doing this now? Does this take some of the excitement out of it for you? Or do you like it? Do you appreciate it? And before I go to you, we got Pete here, Only Fools in Collecting, a division of Collecting Weekly. Good to have you, buddy. How you doing, man?
Yeah, good, thanks. Sorry about that. I disconnected my camera, got it back on, but didn't realise because I couldn't see myself on the screen. So yeah, I'm here now. Glad to be here. Looking forward to the show.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, Adam, let's start with you, buddy, and let us know in the chat, guys, what you think about this question. Do you like, Mr. Adam, the fact that they're telling us who is rumored to be in some of this film here? Does this take any of the excitement out of it for you, or do you think this is actually going to add to some hype and bring some excitement to the film? And is there anybody on the screen here that you are hoping that we see specifically?
Knowing who's in a film doesn't really, I don't consider that spoilers unless it's a character who has been killed off and they bring them back. That I guess would be a spoiler. But none of the characters that the actors that you're seeing is rumored to be in the second round of casting or should be any type other than maybe Elizabeth Olsen, who was seemingly killed off. But come on, let's face it, we all know at some point they're going to bring her back. So other than that, I think everyone else is been on the table. I think their first round of casting, it didn't seem like that generated the type of enthusiasm that at least online that they were hoping for. And I guess for me, what was most notable is other than we knew Robert Downey Jr. was in it. And yeah, it was cool that most of the X-Men were going to be in this, and I think that got some excitement. But the most notable
Patrick Stewart is back. I'm always going to be there for that. But
yeah, and you have Patrick Stewart and Magneto and James Marsden. So all those I was excited about. But the fact that Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, who just had the most successful MCU film since No Way Home and since Endgame, that they weren't in there. Now maybe I think we all know at some point, if they don't either show up in Doomsday or Secret Wars, that's malpractice. And then Tom Holland, I mean, they were missing a major story beat with the relationship that Peter Parker had with Tony Stark in the MCU by not having Peter Parker in Doomsday. Like, that just seems like a no-brainer that at some point Dr. Doom would meet Tom Holland. Or Tom Holland Spider-Man. So I think
is that you, Mr. Stark? Boom,
Yeah, I think that's missing a major thing. To me, I think the most important ones to have in there to get real mass appeal is Wolverine, Spider-Man, Deadpool, probably the Hulk too. But we know that the Hulk's going to be in the new Spider-Man movie, so that's going to be the last film leading into Doomsday. So we'll see where they go from there.
It needs to be more of a rampaging Hulk, though. It can't be Professor Hulk. I feel like, and I shouldn't say nobody liked Professor Hulk, but like he just wasn't the Hulk people wanted to see on screen, So I don't know.
Based on the set photos, I'm thinking that's going to happen in the Spider-Man film.
Cool. I'm excited. Jim, Vita, what do you think? Is this something that gets you excited, hearing about some rumored casting for a film? Does it take any excitement away, potentially? And is there anybody here that you're like, hell yeah, I can't wait to see them back on screen if that's the case?
I think it always generates a little bit of excitement just around conversational buzz. For me, the only line here that generates any sort of excitement is the bottom line, the original X-Men cast. That's the only one for me that I'm like actually seeing this. I'm like, oh, that's great to know, because all the other guys are MCU veterans pretty much at this point, so we've seen them in films. So to see them in here isn't too surprising. Apart from Ryan Reynolds, actually, to be fair, I wouldn't have thought he'd be in this. But glad to see the original X-Men cast coming out. To be fair, I haven't really followed the casting or any of the news around Avengers Doomsday that closely. I think I've just not fallen out with Marvel, but I'm not sticking to it as closely as I used to do. But maybe that'll change. Fantastic Four was really good. We enjoyed that film. Yeah. So we'll see.
I don't like this showing off the casting and who's going to be part of the movie.
No?
I don't like even watching past first trailer, really, because I feel like it ruins the movie for me. Because sometimes those trailers are so long, I feel like they show all the best parts, and I'm like, so why would I go to cinema for at this point I saw half of the movie and the coolest scene. So I rather they would leave it a bit more intriguing, and then I would go to the movie and I would see who's part of it. I feel like it creates more excitement. It's more shock effect, because you're like, oh my god, this person is came back or whatever. So
yeah, spoiler heavy trailers, I guess. I quite like trailers. I still go back on YouTube and watch old movie trailers, and I still get hyped for a film that I probably watched 20 to 50 times. So I'm probably on the opposite end of that. I love doing that.
I did
Gladiator
that
trailer.
Yeah, I did that the other day, and it was one of the old school, like classic, like in a world of
Oh, they're the best ones.
Yes. Yeah.
They are the best ones.
It was
Do you know
awesome,
what
dude. It
the
was
Logan trailer, the Johnny Cash Hurt Logan trailer? I can rewatch that pretty much daily. That one's just epic. I love that one.
awesome.
Yeah, I don't mind
tune
watching
that.
trailers after I watch the movie, but it's just beforehand I don't like.
Yeah, I get that.
I enjoy just like see the first like and some teasers, but I don't like see like second, third, or like especially when there's like leaks as well. I just hate
Yeah.
that.
I'm with you on that, Vita, too. And there has been times where I will go back and rewatch the trailer, like that I haven't seen after the film, and then realize how much of the film it actually did give away. And it's like, damn, I am happy
Yeah.
I didn't watch that. So, well said, guys. We have 35 people already watching live. If you don't mind hitting the like button on the way in the door, if you haven't already, I would certainly appreciate it. Mr. Chris, I see here in your comments, buddy, that you said too many characters. Tell us about that. Why do you feel like a film like this has too many characters? Because when I think about films like Gladiator, for example, and some other really epic stories, there's lots of characters in those films. It's just that they may not be as household namey as some of the superhero characters that we see here. Tell us your thoughts on that.
Look at you paying such active attention to the chat, Ben. You love to see that. That's great.
Always
But
watching.
man, this poster, I mean, I know it's not an official poster, but it just gives you some idea of the absurdity, and it makes you wonder, like, how, like, is it fair to advertise the cast in this way? Because if you just look at it from a time breakdown perspective on a feature-length film, even if it's 3 hours long, like 40% of these have to be like maybe not even one line of dialogue cameos. So like it's going to be like the end of Endgame where everybody just shows up at the end, and it's like they're trying to sell tickets based on your favorite character being there for like 2.8 seconds. What am I excited about? I think the only like member berry cameo that I love here is Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler, because I think as somebody who like appreciates Fox X-Men, I think it's basically the first two movies, and if you really want to stretch it, Days of Future Past are like the real ones, and Nightcrawler's like the soul of X-Men 2, if you ask me. Like he's probably the best thing about
that
the movie.
that opening scene with him in the White House. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, choreography, cinematography, action direction, like they dang all don't make them like they used to, I tell you what. And you're not going to get anything like that, and this is advertising, and I'm not in favor of any of it, but it's cool to see Alan coming back as Nightcrawler, and that's about the farthest thought I have on this. I think Days of Future Past was a fine send-off for Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen's X-Men characters, and this is not going to come anywhere near that because it just can't justify them the time. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
I loved Days of Future Past. I thought it was a wonderful film and a great send-off. You're right. What about you, Pete? Anything that stands out for you here? What are your thoughts on the too many characters idea? I've
been staring at this poster, not realizing that it was fan made. I'm thinking,
Definitely
who the
AI or something.
who the hell are those Fantastic Four actors?
Oh yeah.
It doesn't make. Looks like Scarlett Johansson
too much heat for
playing
the stream.
Invisible Woman. Some dodgy guy in glasses. I don't know. It's weird. I'm excited for it. I think Chris is right in the fact that anything that's got too many characters, they're going to be a bit throwaway. Some of them, but it's cool to see them, even if they are just kind of like in throwaway scenes, cameos. I'm really excited to see RDJ playing Doom and kind of how they bring that into the story. That's going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to it. And if the Hulk is in Spider-Man, I'm looking forward to that as well.
Hell yeah. Yeah, totally.
I just want to add one thing here. I think the problem that they're having now, and I just want to say, I'm looking forward to Doomsday, so I'm not a naysayer, but I think the problem they have is that they had a detour. You compare it to Avengers in 2012, the post-credit scene where you first see Thanos, and they build for 5 years until Infinity War, where Thanos, is in post-credit scenes, or he's mentioned, or he's in Guardians of the Galaxy. and then of course Infinity War, and then Endgame the year later. You built to that, so the fans were chomping at the bit, looking for clues, getting excited for where this is going, because we knew Infinity War and Endgame were coming with Thanos as the ultimate big bad. The post Endgame MCU was leading to the multiverse of the war with Kang. Well, of course, you had Quantumania didn't hit like they thought it would, and then the actor had some personal issues, and so they went a totally different direction with Doctor Doom. And listen, I'm very excited about RDJ as Doctor Doom, but they didn't have the opportunity to kind of build on this, and so now they're kind of quickly, in with Thunderbolts and with Fantastic Four, very quickly trying to build up to these two films.
It's interesting you say that too, because some of the feedback that I'd gotten, because I really liked the Fantastic Four film, just for the sake of saying it out loud. Like, I really loved it.
Me too.
Yeah.
But even Galactus coming in there and then having him get knocked into that portal, but like sent to the other edge of the galaxy sort of thing, or universe, that was pretty quick, pretty abrupt. Like, we got to see him, and then they kind of dealt with them all in a 20-minute span of the film, right? And the only negative criticism that people shared with me that they felt was that even felt kind of rushed, right? Similar to what you were saying with regards to Thanos and the building up of it, and it's like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to do it better. If you want anything done right, you got to do it yourself. Kind of a take that he had, right? And Galactus is just already out of the picture, at least as of now. I think we'll see him back again, and I think he'll be a bigger threat when he's back. But we'll find out. And same goes for Doom here. So, but I'm excited to see what happens. Guys, let us know if you're watching, especially on replay or in the chat. Are you excited about some of this rumored casting? Is there anybody here that you cannot wait to see again on film? Hopefully all of these guys do make an appearance. I love Elizabeth Olsen. I love the old X-Men team as well. There's a lot here to be excited for, so let us know how you feel in the comments. Now, this is an interesting one, because I know you, Jim and Vita, got to talk about this very briefly yesterday. I will put up that the Batman filming begins in spring of 2026 for the Batman 2. And there's been some, I guess, kind of an announcement that the actress, it's not Halle Berry. That's the old Catwoman. What's her name? Zoe Kravitz. Apparently is not going to be in the second film. And is that a fail or not? It's not to say she's not ever going to be back in this universe. It's just sounding like it's confirmed that she's just likely not going to be back in this next particular film. So is that a miss? I'm going to go to Jim and Vita first, because I know you guys had a chance to talk about this a little bit yesterday. And I heard your very hot take, Vita, that, Halle Berry is actually your Catwoman. Good on you, Jim, for still staying with Vita after such a bold statement, honestly. But what are your thoughts on Catwoman not being in the second film? There you go. Eddie's with you. He's crazy. Eddie also likes Batman Forever. So,
was your omission of Halle Berry in that slide there, was that purposefully done after?
That was not purposefully done. I think I was just thinking about you guys from yesterday.
Liar.
That's funny.
I feel bullied.
I hate to see it.
You talk first.
I didn't actually make the picture. The picture omitted her on purpose, I think. So, hate to see it.
Wow, that's just horrible.
Do you think it's a miss that she's not back?
I don't care much about her in these Batman movies.
Some blunt, I'll let you.
I really don't care that she won't be in this movie, if I'm totally honest. I didn't quite like the character even in the first movie. I thought I just didn't like how easily Batman found out who Catwoman is and followed her and watched her in her flat. She's so open
weird.
about it all.
That was a little weird.
Yeah, so yeah, that was weird. That's a bit.
He's Batman. That's what he does.
What? Stalking half-naked woman in the flat.
That's not his fault. It's just a bad time.
Well, if you stop watching. If you would be decent,
give her some privacy. At least turn around for 30 seconds, man.
Yeah, I mean, let her for the decent man. So yeah, my take is short. I don't care. She won't be part of it.
What about you, Jim? What are your thoughts? About
To be fair, I'm not too massively fussed because, and again, it was touched upon yesterday. Like she could, maybe she's not in the Batman 2, but maybe she appears in her own show. I think that would be intriguing. I think it would be interesting to see more of her iteration of Catwoman than we saw in the first film. But I, the thing is, we don't know what the Batman 2 is going to be, so it's hard to say if I think it's a loss, because if Batman 2 ends up being great and she's not in it, then it's not a loss that she's not in it. Does that make sense?
Totally.
It's just my thoughts around
the
it.
first movie great. Like
So history with Batman was good. Maybe it moved a little bit quick. Yeah, I didn't think she was a bad portrayal. I thought she was fine as Catwoman.
not for me, but it's fine. It's your opinion.
My favorite Catwoman is, and I might get slated for this, was in Gotham. I liked that iteration
she
of
was-
Catwoman. She was good.
The younger Selena, she was good.
Yeah, that was a good
was a
show.
good show.
Actually.
That was a good show.
You should watch that.
Yeah, you should.
But yeah, so no, I'm not too gutted about it. To be fair, I'm excited to see what the Batman 2 is, and I am hoping it's Mr. Freeze. I reckon that'll be quite interesting, but we'll see.
Victor Freeze, I think, could be an amazing storyline, and I've said it before. I think whenever you can have a villain where, you know, their motivations you can understand, right? If his motivations is that he's trying to save his wife Nora, and as a result has to turn to crime to do it, then how do you stop somebody that's doing crime because of love, even though it has to be stopped, right? And it would create this dichotomy, I think, in Batman, that I think could be really cool, a really cool story to
agree.
explore. So
I
yeah,
think
no,
that would fit in well to Matt Reeves as well, into like the
Yeah,
world he's kind of
100%.
creating.
100%. And you know, Adam, I would say, you know, when I think about Catwoman, I mean, she really only makes an appearance once in most of the other Batman films as well, right? She was in Batman Returns, but she wasn't in the first Batman. She wasn't in Forever, or she wasn't in Batman and Robin, right? If that was all supposed to be somewhat of the same universe overall. She only made an appearance in The Dark Knight Rises. You know, she wasn't in the Dark Knight or any of those either. So, like, having Catwoman appear once in a film that's Batman doesn't necessarily make a difference. And I gotta say, hot take, I'm kind of with Vita on this one. She was one of my least favorite parts of the Batman film. I did not like her, and I like Zoe Kravitz, and I didn't think she did a bad job. But I didn't feel like I was like, oh my god, I would collect her. I would, you know, like, she was amazing. Like, and when she parted ways with Batman at the end, I felt like that was enough of a wrap to her story that I'm excited to explore more of the characters. There's a lot of great characters in the Batman universe. We don't have to keep going back to the same ones. So, what were your thoughts on Catwoman in the first film, Adam? And do you feel disappointed at all that she's not going to be in Batman 2, or where were you at?
This kind of relates to our last topic. You know, Avengers Endgame made me much more interested in Thor: The Dark World, just because of that one scene where it flashes back to the Dark World and they get to get that one Infinity Stone. So it kind of redeemed that. Well, for this, the Penguin made the Batman 2022 a better film for me. After watching the Penguin, I went back and watched the Batman, and I liked it more. What I'd like to see is that story of Sophia Falcone, Kristen Morlatti, bring her back. Maybe in an HBO one shot or a miniseries where, you know, her interaction now. I mean, this show's been out for a while now, so spoiler alert: they're half sisters. Is to, you know, see that relationship. I'd be interested in that. The fact that she's, you know, I kind of agree with you, Ben. I could take her or leave her. She was fine, but to me, that wasn't the driving story arc. And that, you know, I was much more invested in Batman and the Riddler and the Penguin and Jim Gordon. You know, I think whether I don't know if they need to I'm assuming they're not recasting her. She's just not in the film, but I guess we'll have to see.
That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. And people are like, oh my god, it's an absolute fail, you know, poor Zoe Kravitz and all these things. But again, all that they've really said is that she's likely not in the next movie. It's not that she's gone from the universe entirely. So
yeah, like you said, traditionally she's not a villain, but these characters are in one film. The Joker, you know, I think they originally wanted to bring him back for Dark Knight Rises before Heath Ledger died, but he was, you know, in one film. You know, Ra's al Ghul briefly as a flashback in Dark Knight Rises, but you know, these all in one film.
True, and it's interesting because I was also thinking about Spider-Man the other day because I was watching some clips of, you know, Spider-Man's relationship with Mary Jane or with what the heck is her name? Emma Stone's character.
Gwen Stacy.
Gwen Stacy, thank you. The Gwens or the MJs, right? And they have such like interesting love relationships through all of their films and everything. Whereas I feel like Catwoman has always just kind of been, something that gets Batman's interest, but there's still a lot more other characters that I'm happy to see them explore. I don't feel like I need the relationship in the film. What do you think, Chris, in terms of Zoe Kravitz potentially just not being in the next movie? Do you think she's gone from the universe? Does it make a difference? What character would you want to see next, maybe in a Matt Reeves Batman film?
I thought Mr. Freeze was too fantastical for this until you guys were like just talking about it, and like it pushed me to check. But did you know that there's an organization in America that has 200 frozen bodies in the hopes that one day in the deep future they'll be able to be revived through advanced medical technology and have bizarre life extension? There's definitely some real world plot line you could blend into a Mr. Freeze concept, trying to save his wife, get the technology secured before he dies or something like that. That could be cool. But
Ted Williams, the baseball player, is one of them.
Yeah, exactly. It's just wild, and there's those rumors that they got Disney's head somewhere beneath the park, frozen. But of course, I like. Does it surprise me that Kravitz is out? No, and I think that when you wait like 3-4 years to do your sequel, stuff like that is bound to happen, and it's kind of a tradition in Batman movies to lose actors like that. Like even like Katie Holmes didn't make it to the Nolan trilogy sequels, and in the Tim Burton era, you have the Batman himself switching actors, and Kim Basinger didn't make it to the sequel, even though there was probably an intention of that originally, but just didn't work out. They took a while to get to it. I think that you got to sort of look at these as standalone movies, with the exception of the Nolan trilogy, just because I feel like with Gordon and Bruce Wayne and Fox, there's like sort of a through line in the Nolan trilogy that actually makes sense. But with the villains, there I think it's kind of good that they don't really do that. Of course, you have Scarecrow the whole way, but he doesn't really do that much after the first movie. I don't mind it. I think it will have been so long that you have to sort of look at this as a standalone movie. But anyone who's saying the hype is dying because they took so long, I think they're forgetting that it's a Batman film and people are going to show up. It's all good.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I don't think the hype has died for me. I will say that this Batman film is one of the least rewatchable of the Batman movies I think that I've ever experienced. And I really enjoyed it, but I think I've only seen it maybe a maximum of 3 times all the way through. Whereas, other films like The Dark Knight, or honestly, even like the old ones, the Joel Schumacher films, like as a kid anyways, I watched the heck out of Batman Forever. And, even the 89 Batman film, Batman Returns, like all of those. But yeah, I think I've only seen this probably 3 whole times. So for me, I'm ready to see what happens next to keep me drawn in. Pete, what do you think? I did hear also that there was a rumor that there could be a possible like Robin in this universe at some point. But do you feel like having Catwoman out of the second movie would be a miss for you, or who would you rather see in the Batman universe coming up next?
I think I've kind of been quite vocal before that I wasn't the biggest fan of this incarnation of Batman. I didn't mind it. I saw it at the cinema, sort of leaning into a later topic. I did buy it on 4K and watch it again, and it was a nice presentation and stuff like that. And I've got all the Batmans in 4K, even the Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. Yeah, not great movies, but there's bits in it like Freeze and stuff like that. And I just want to have them in that kind of in the best format possible. So. Yeah, I'm not. I would go and see this because, as Chris is a Batman movie, I didn't mind Pattinson. I thought it was okay, but yeah, I didn't love it, and I kind of didn't get on that whole hype train about Hot Toys in art, which figure, and all that kind of thing. So that was quite a relief not to be kind of torn on that point. And I didn't watch The Penguin just because I didn't love, and I've heard people say it's fantastic, but I think I just didn't love that kind of world they created enough to kind of invest that time. There's lots of other things to watch, so it doesn't really bother me. I think it's perfectly fine to have characters that come in and out, and as you said, she kind of had an end to her part in that movie. So yeah, it doesn't bother me at all. I would love to see something a little bit more fantastical, like Freeze, and obviously ground it as much as you can. But I think you need to maybe take that little leap to say, okay, this might not be possible right now in science, but we're kind of there. We kind of, as Chris said, there's people on ice that are hoping that somebody might be able to work something out. So yeah, maybe a little bit more, something a little bit more kind of sci-fi, a little bit out there would be good.
I think it'll happen. I think that kind of science fiction will exist. A Futurama style. It's now 150 years in the future, and holy crap, can you imagine?
Yeah,
that would be great. That would be a crazy thing to experience. If I was rich enough,
Absolutely.
I would consider trying to get frozen if I thought I was going to die. Screw it. Why not? But guys, let us know in the comments, either if you're live with us or watching on replay. Are you excited about Batman 2? 2027 is far. There's a few of you saying the hype feels like it's gone. Do you feel that way? And would you be let down if Catwoman doesn't show up in the next film? Or, as a result, who would you rather see pop up in another cool role? Let us know what your thoughts are below. But guys, let's also bump over quickly to this one, and then I want to get into our physical media discussion. But maybe this will roll into physical media to a certain extent as well. The Small Soldiers creator says he's ready to make a sequel. And this one, it's funny because I'm like, well, fair. It's like, director ready to make some money, like fair. But I loved this movie as a kid, and I did have the majority of the action figures that you see on the right-hand side. Unfortunately, that's no longer my picture. Those are all long gone now, unfortunately. But yeah, I had all the figures back in the day, and I did enjoy the film. And, for its time, like the CGI or whatever they used to make it work looked pretty decent, and it was a fun little watch. I'd be curious to see a second film, what they would do with it, and maybe the collectibles that could come from it. But I don't have to go full panel on this one, but is there anybody here that feels like they'd be excited to watch a Small Soldiers 2 and potentially collect from it? Or is this a film franchise that feels dead for us all at this point? Anybody can go. Just curious if you had anything.
I'm not sure if I collect for it, but I would be very excited to see this make a return. I always thought so actually seeing this, I did a bit of YouTube digging, and I was watching a video. I didn't realize that this was a flop when it released. It didn't make back the money that it needed to make, because it was quite a high budget film. I also didn't know it was the same team that worked on the animatronics and such on this that did Jurassic Park as well. So that kind of makes sense as to why
I didn't know that.
it looks as good as it does. So I thought that was quite exciting. I personally absolutely loved this film as a kid growing up. I was obsessed with it. I thought it was fantastic, and I was always sad that we didn't get to see more. I don't know where they would take a sequel. That would be quite interesting, because the film does very much feel like a one and done. I suppose they could go probably... I'm not sure, actually. I don't know. They could go the Buzz Lightyear route, and instead of doing it as the toys, into the actual world of the Gorgonites and the soldiers. But I do worry that there's going to be too many parallels there between that and Avatar, because there's weird like hindsight now with Avatar coming out, it's kind of a similar deal with this military force trying to exterminate some indigenous tribal like characters. So that's an interesting one. But no, I'm excited to see this. I hope they do make a sequel, and I would definitely head to the cinema to watch it.
Some kind of like AI has decided that these things need to be recreated again, or something weird
Probably.
brings them back. Right?
Toy marketing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would be down for at least a 6-scale representation of the main soldier, maybe an archer or something like that. But
I'd take Chip.
yeah, 100%. That'd be so cool. Chris, you were gonna say something. What are your thoughts here, buddy?
Yeah, man. I mean, like, I would be here for it, but there's a real statement in the original movie about like the value of play and like what a wholesome toy is versus like a destructive toy that gives kids bad ideas. And I think that whole concept is so of its time. Like, this movie came out in '98, I think, and like action figures with electronic upgrades were like, we're talking like Furby era, Tickle Me Elmo, like stuff like that. And like, this is just so not a concept that anyone like under the age of 30 has a comprehension of these days, if you ask me. So like I'd be there for it. I don't know like how you way I think of modernizing this concept to be relatable to modern times absolutely ruins it, if you ask me. So like I don't know how they could possibly do it. And like the original movie's great, but I'd be like, I would love to hear the synopsis, and I would decide at that point whether I would be excited or not. But it's kind of crazy that he's ready for a sequel after like 28 years or whatever it is. Like, where were you at, brother? I don't know. But definitely like this movie has some brand value still out there. There was a third party company making like super accurate like 1-to-1 basically like 1/6 scale figures of it that were like pretty much the movie props for Chip Hazard and Archer. I forget the name of the third party company doing that, but if you're into that sort of thing, check it out. But I think they're around $1,000 a piece or something like that. But yeah, man,
That's crazy.
yeah, but I would watch it, but I don't know who it's for in the under 30 bracket. That's all.
Interesting. And I mean, I think, you know, it's interesting for me because as a collector of figures, like there's always that one thought that goes through my mind every once in a while of like, do these things come to life at nighttime? You know, you sometimes like there was so I've got some Batman DC Batman figures up above my collection that are just 1/12 scale. But there's this one figure that falls over all the time. It doesn't matter how well I stand him up. I'll come in the next day and he's tipped over. And I'm like, I either have a ghost or he can't get back into position by the time I come in the room. To the point where I actually glued him down to a base and he still falls over somehow. So I'm like, something's going on with this guy. 12-inch Moose Stream with a 19-month member chat. Holy cow. Says, thanks, Ben, for increasing to 150 characters here. I've got lots to say. And recent buys, BBTS, Mondo Animated Noir Batman. That's a sweet one. Freeze, BBTS, 50% off daily deal. Ooh. Don't tell us these things, Moose. I'm trying to save money, buddy, okay? God, you hate to see it, but that's awesome, man. Congratulations. And thanks for being a channel member for so long. I should say, Adam or Pete, did you guys have any thoughts on this, or did you want to jump into physical media?
No. Move on.
I'm good.
All right, let's move on. So, guys, the original TMNT trilogy is getting 4K Blu-ray box sets, which I think is pretty cool. For me, you could probably leave the third film out of the box, or use it as a, like a bird or like one of those bird pecker or woodpecker deterrents. You know what I mean? Up on the top of your house. But the first two films are awesome, and I did hear also that they're putting The Secret of the Ooze back in theaters at some point here in the next little while, so that's kind of fun. But this did make me think about physical media, because when I was before I was collecting Lego and before I was collecting Hot Toys, I collected DVDs, and just like straight DVDs. This was before Blu-ray really was a much of a thing, or before 4K now and all that. And I had at the time probably probably about 400 DVDs. That by the time things started switching over to Blu-ray and 4K, I couldn't even give those DVDs away. Like people would, like you couldn't even give them away. And so I ended up giving them to my brother, most of them, because he has a kind of basically what looks like a Blockbuster in his basement. Like he's got so many movies in his collection, but it did make me think back then, okay, well, I'll never collect movies again, because what's the point? Especially once digital movies started becoming available, and the streaming service started becoming available. But something that's bit me a couple times lately is, I want to watch that movie again. And, I subscribe to about 4 different streamers, and I still couldn't find the movie. So then it was giving me the option to digitally buy it, and I'm like, well, shit, like I kind of just wish that I had it. And like I already pay 60 or 70 bucks a month now in all of these different streamers, and the content that I want to watch isn't always there, or it's there for a limited time and then they take it off. And so I've always said, if there's not going to be a content library of all of the past movies that we can be able to reference, then I don't think that physical media should completely die. And this is still an indication that it's not completely gone yet. But I'd be curious, how many of you guys still collect physical media? Because for me, I typically now will buy some of my old favorites, things that are hard to find, and or new favorites that I still want to, have in a somewhat of a collection. But my collection is so much smaller than it used to be. So Adam, I'll be curious for you, because of course you collect so many cool things and behind you, and in your home. Do you still collect physical media? And was there ever a time that you stopped and have restarted, like me? Where are you at, man?
Yeah, a lot like you, Ben. I used to. I had at one between my wife and I, we had about 500-600 DVDs, and back when Blockbuster and Hollywood Video were open, they
Hollywood
eventually
Video,
they
hell
would
yeah.
discount the rented copies, and you get them for like $4 or something. And so even some movies are like, yeah, it's good, but you just get it anyway because maybe one night you want to watch that film. And
Sure.
we had tons of them. And one of the worst things about moving is when you have to move your DVD collection and you have to move your seat. And I had like 600 CDs, and having just put them in, like, I remember putting them in milk crates and moving them. And then, I'm very anal retentive. So I, put them in alphabetical order, having to put them back in and we got like custom wood cabinets to store these things. So, when the iPhones came out and, even before the iPhones, and I remember back when, late 90s, early 2000s, when we used to download the music for free, until the record companies came in and stopped that. So eventually I got onto Apple Music when I got my iPhone. And not too long after that, when new movies started coming out digitally, I was looking in our family room, and it was like 3 cabinets and cases just overflowing with DVDs. And I saw you can get them digitally, pay for them at the time either the same price or cheaper, and have it instantly. I think I'll do that. So I started, I stopped buying the DVDs, Blu-rays, and started buying films digitally. And we had a garage sale a few years, maybe 6-7 years ago, before the pandemic. And I was trying to sell these. I had them down to $1. At some point, just so we can move other things in our garage sale, I just gave wholesale DVDs away. And I ended up buying, I decided I'm just going to buy a lot of these things on Apple, the Apple Store. So my collection of Blu-rays, DVDs, and CDs, do you want to see it now? It's right here. It's all on this.
all in
Hundreds
there.
of films, thousands of music. It's all on this. Now, the argument sometimes I hear is, well, what if the streaming goes down? The power goes down. Well, if that happens and we go into the zombie apocalypse, the last thing I'm going to worry about is not having access to my movies and music. I just don't want to live in that zombie apocalypse world. So, I'm not cut out for the zombie apocalypse. I need my creature comforts.
Zombie apocalypse. Wait, I'm gonna watch a Ninja Turtles movie first.
That's
Okay,
right.
we'll go out there soon.
Now, the only time where there have been a couple occasions, very rare, where I kind of wish I had the physical copy of that. And the 2 instances are, I have Jaws on Apple Music. Now, I used to have the DVD, and the DVD has a couple of like deleted scenes. And for whatever reason, there's some really good deleted scenes in Jaws. And for whatever reason, the version that's on Apple doesn't have those deleted scenes. The other thing is there's a movie I really enjoy. It's called Near Dark. If you haven't seen this movie, it's a cult film from the 80s about vampires. And for some reason, it's probably some rights issue. It's with Bill Paxton and Jeanette Goldstein,
Lance Henriksen.
and Lance Henriksen, all who were in Aliens, and just a great cult film. But for whatever reason, it's not available digitally. So, it's a film I'd like to have, but I don't even own a DVD player anymore. We have the Xbox. I guess I can play it on there. We sold we got rid of our Blu-ray player. So we have the Apple TV, in like 2 or 3 bedrooms, and we watch. My daughter doesn't even hardly ever watches TV. She watches everything on her iPhone. So it's a different world.
You're not wrong.
But
I watch YouTube more than I watch DVDs nowadays, honestly, or even movies.
Well, the same. Most of, unless it's like to me, it's like appointment shows. The shows like the Peacemaker, Alien Earth. I don't just mindlessly watch TV anymore. It's got to be something I want to watch. I mindlessly watch YouTube for different things. You go down a rabbit hole and something. Last night, I went down a rabbit hole of listening to punk rocker from Iggy Pop, and then I started watching Iggy Pop concerts. So it's like that's the mindless thing I'll do. I don't say it's mindless, but you know what I'm saying. It's So to me, I know there's an appeal. I mean, you don't have the beautiful cover art on a Blu-ray or a CD that it's just on your computer, and so you are missing that. I mean, there is something tangible you can hold when you have I understand that, but am I missing having the clutter all over the house? No, not really.
That's fair. That's well said. Well said. It's interesting too, Jim and Vita, because I was seeing that Superman, the new Superman film, is already. Oh, can you hear me? I'm frozen.
Yeah, you're back.
We can hear you.
There you go.
Can you hear me? Okay. The new Superman film. It might have been you guys. Can you hear me? Okay, Jim and Vita.
Yeah, we can now.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Sounds good. It might be the internet. The physical media, the gods, they're coming after us. You hate to see it. Superman was put up already on digital release the other day, and I noticed that you could rent it for, I think it was like $25, or you could buy it digitally for $30. And I thought, like, who would rent it for $5 cheaper if you could just own it digitally for $5 more? Like, that seems kind of crazy. But to me, one of the other reasons that it got me thinking about it in combination with this Turtle set was because I don't really feel like I actually own the movie when it's digital. I don't feel like it's actually mine. And maybe that's just a weird old school mentality. Maybe it's my age.
With you there.
Yeah, like I don't feel like I own it. So Jim and Vito, what do you guys think about physical media? Is it something you still collect? Do you still have that feeling of ownership when it's digital, or do you like the physical aspect?
Kind of interesting timing actually, because probably like a lot of us here growing up, it was the normal thing. You go to the cinema, you watch the film, when it gets released on DVD, you pick up the DVD, and consequently, my parents now probably have hundreds, 500 plus DVDs. They're in the house, they're in the shed outside in these massive like containers, just picking up dust, and nobody watches them anymore. So that always swayed me off, because then, like Adam said, it ends up being clutter in your house, and as you grow older, I mean, you just have less time to rewatch movies as much as you'd perhaps used to or would like to. And especially now with YouTube and the amount of TV shows that we have access to, it's difficult. But I did get burnt recently with when 28 Years Later was announced, and I realized 28 days later I didn't have it on DVD, and it was nowhere on streaming. It wasn't even, you couldn't even buy it on digital initially. You can now, it's on streaming everywhere now, it's fine, but when it initially got announced, I couldn't find it. And that kind of made me rethink the value of physical media. But again, with films, I think, and I've been contemplating this, I would consider getting 4Ks of like my most treasured movies. So like Aliens, Star Wars, things like that, like the really, like Gladiator, like films that I think would stick with me forever. 4Ks of those, because then it's manageable and you can kind of control it, and you don't have to worry about it disappearing on your streaming services. It'll be there forever, and 4K is the best quality you can get. And it looks like, I mean, there's 8K now, but I don't think the human eye can see the difference that much with those. So 4K is probably here to stay for quite a while.
It's as good as you'd ever need.
I do like physical. Yeah, exactly. I talked to Agent Silverfox quite a lot, and that's essentially what he says. He's a big 4K guy, so he loves it. Yeah, as he says it.
That was well done. Yeah, that was well done. I heard him exactly there.
Thank you. It's like he was in a room. But we collect. What was it? I say collect. We buy vinyl. We quite like vinyl, so a lot of the times I'll get like a vinyl album of like an album that I really like. And we'll listen to it there, and it feels a bit more special when you throw that on, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Than just like 100%. Listening to music on Amazon Music or something like that. And the other issue as well, actually talking about buying, if you buy it digitally, like I have an Apple iPhone as well, and I can buy a movie on Apple, but then I always worry, if I get rid of this phone and I get like a Samsung or an Android, do I still have access to those films? Because I had that before. I bought loads of movies on PlayStation 3, don't have access to those films on PSN anymore. which is annoying because that's like wasted money. If I got the PS3 back, maybe, but I don't have it, so I can't access them. So that's the one thing about for a select few films that I do. And again, I'm a big horror fan, and a lot of the films that I would like to watch you can't find very often. They're hard to find apart from the horror section in HMV. So that would be something else I'd probably get in like physical media form. But yeah.
Totally fair. Totally fair. Vita, you're kind of feeling the same way as Jim there, or?
Yeah, we kind of on the same page when it comes to the physical copies. We at home, I think we only have like a special few, and like recently we actually like got rid of quite a bit of them as well.
Just don't watch them.
Yeah,
And
because
they're on
you like
streaming
you
also.
think you're gonna rewatch it, but then 9 times out of 10 when it comes to it, you consider are you gonna rewatch something you've seen several times probably at this point, or you're gonna watch something new, what comes out. As Jim said, as you get older, you get busier, you don't really have that luxury keep rewatching the same movies. So, sometimes, yeah, you just feel like you need your favorite movie on, and it's great to have that at hand. But yeah, I hate clutter. So
Me too.
I don't want to have many physical copies. As Jim said, his parent has not just DVDs but CDs as well. His dad is maniac with CDs.
He still buys CDs.
He still buys the
He loves them.
CDs. We still buy him CDs for any occasion which comes up. So it's just like hundreds, if not thousands, of those CDs there. And I like every time you go there, it's cool because like whatever you're gonna ask him to play, he has the actual copy, and like he looks after it. But just the amount of it everywhere just always gives me a little bit of
Yeah, and he's got everything from like Britney Spears to Oasis to the Beatles,
Iron Maiden.
to Iron Maiden. It's just he's got an eclectic mix.
I'm too spoiled by things like Spotify now, where you can just like search,
Same.
and boom, it's there in 30 seconds. If I had to go in like, even if they were in alphabetical order, like find the physical CD, that would drive me fucking crazy. So that's
It's not fun
awesome
when
stuff.
we go there.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I want the song, and it takes like
Yeah.
20 minutes. It's like,
That's
oh,
right.
where's that
That's right.
CD?
I'll
And
be
I was like,
back.
God. It's like, you have Alexa just next to you. Please ask Alexa to play the
100%.
song.
100%. That's funny. And Chris, I would say, for me, I think I've adopted the digital option more for video games than I have for films, because like I think it's annoying when you want to play a game, maybe on a handheld system or something like that, and you don't have, a hard copy of the game with you. So then that is really just sitting in a drawer, out of reach. I think video games for me, I've adopted that feel of it more, unless it's like a AAA game that I'm like, oh, I have to collect that one for some reason, right? Like I felt that way about the Marvel Spider-Man game, the first one that had come out, some of those, but most of the time I digitally download those now, and I feel like I've really adopted it. What do you think about digital versus physical nowadays for movies, gaming, CDs, music, right? Like where are you kind of landing nowadays?
Ben, I'm so sorry in advance, and I am pre-authorizing you to stop me when you need to stop me here, okay? But Jim brought up a couple things that I want to mention. When it comes to physical media and films, like, let's be generous to ourselves and say there's probably not more than 100 films that have personally impacted you to the point where you simply must have a physical copy in case you have the desire to rewatch it at some point in the future. So like that have really formatively impacted you, right? And I do a commercial and corporate video for a living, so like I have some understanding of the progression of camera technology over the last 40 years. And the problem you had with DVDs where you couldn't give them away, that's not going to happen with 4K physical, just because it's actually comparable to the source media that the cameras are shooting for the original movie. So it's like, right. You can blow it up and AI upscale it, but even that I have problems with. So it's very close to how the film is originally captured. Like, there's a lot of fun examples, like Jim mentioned 28 Days Later. That was actually shot on standard definition digital video. So even if you buy a Blu-ray of 28 Days Later, it's a scam. It's not even 1080p. And, and there's fun things like Star Wars Episode 2 and 3 were shot on 2K, which is basically 1080p. So any shots of the actors in Star Wars Episode 2 and 3 cannot be 4K ever without AI upscaling, for example.
Yeah.
So like we got to a point where like we're sort of par because the technology progressed so quickly that you're basically watching cinema quality media in your house at this point. And somebody in the chat mentioned compression. Like you have to look at it like when you're watching a movie, there's two separate things here. There's resolution and then compression. And so like you can have something 4K on a streaming service that still has a lot of compression where the dynamic range is damaged. So like fine details in the shadows and the highlights are lost, where if you had a physical media copy with less compression, you're getting a better presentation where you see a lot more information in those areas. Like when you're streaming, if you have a really dark scene, you kind of get this blocky pixelated look on the details where there's very fine nuanced differences in the shadows. The streaming services can't deal with that because they have millions of people watching, and they have to sort of get the data rates sorted where it's technically 4K, but the compression is just throttled. So if it's one of those generously 100 films that you must watch every couple years, get the physical 4K version. For me, it's probably only about 20 films, if I'm being honest with myself, that I have to have on hand for the rest of my life. So I think it's pretty manageable to get physical copies of that. And just because you brought up games real quick, there was a controversy recently with Doom: The Dark Ages, where they were selling physical copies that all they do is prompt a digital download when you put the media into your console. So, if you didn't have the internet, you did not buy a physical copy, and the industry is probably going that way. And, it's being sort of litigated right now, and we'll see what happens. But, for video games, I can't think of that many in the last 10 years that are Criterion Collection worthy anyways. They're all live service nonsense for the most part these days. You're not getting a lot of Halo 3s anymore, so I think I'm okay if that happens. But get physical media 4K for the 20 favorite films that you have, because times are changing. Streaming services all have terms of service, and they can pull stuff away from you anytime, especially if you bought something digitally. There was a big deal on PlayStation where if you bought Discovery Channel documentaries a couple years ago, they were all going away just because the contract with Discovery changed. Even though you paid for it as a purchase rather than a rental, it was still disappearing off your PlayStation. You don't own anything physically unless you have it physically. And one last reason why physical media is awesome, our Lord and Savior James Cameron recently did a remasters of Aliens and Terminator 1 and True Lies and The Abyss, and they all have really cringe AI upscaling and denoising, and they might even be upscaled from the 1080p versions. So for all of those James Cameron films that were recently remastered, I would rather watch the Blu-ray where the film grain isn't mulched off the screen by AI. So there's always good reasons. You got to know what you're buying, and buy physical if you can for those top 20 films.
Wow, that was a lot and amazing points, dude. I think the biggest takeaway I had from what you said there was around the 4K to 8K range. The human eye not necessarily being able to see that difference. So 4K, in terms of holding some level of value in ownership, still then makes more sense. You'll likely have more longevity because there's not much of a reason to get anything greater than 4K at this point.
Especially,
so then,
as just last thing, especially if you're talking, good films that were from 2000 and earlier, the film stock they were shot on, you're just drastically oversampling if you do anything higher than 4K anyways. So the actual worthwhile films of American history are just fine in 4K. That's all.
Sure. There you go. Fair enough. And as I said, it makes me more encouraged, because that was something that I hated about the transition between DVDs and Blu-rays and everything, is that it just completely eliminated, not that I collected DVDs for the value, but it destroyed the value of them. As I said, you couldn't give them away. You couldn't take them to a Goodwill and give them to them, because they'd be like, no, sorry, we already have hundreds of the movie Crash, or some of those old ones that you always see at the dollar store, right, or at the giveaways. So Pete, last but certainly not least, buddy, physical media for you, where does this land? Do you still ever collect for games or for films, or are you more digital nowadays?
Movies, definitely. Yeah, I I hark back from the VHS days. So imagine having a large collection of VHS tapes that are that thick on the shelf. So DVD to me was a revelation because VHS was played with issues. It was a tape. They used to get screwed up. I remember buying when the widescreen special editions of Star Wars came out, and I think I had to return some of the tapes 3-4 times because they just were bad. They had lines on them. They were, so you never were guaranteed you'd get a decent pressing of the thing. So DVD was fantastic. Dealt with all those issues. So I think I probably owned about over 1,000 DVDs at one point. A lot of them are bird scarers out in the garden now, so it's great that you mentioned that. I think in the UK, we had something particularly interesting. I got into DVD really early on, sort of 98, 99, and the UK market was pretty slow to kind of get into it. So I used to buy, back before there was any kind of import and all that stuff, nobody really cared. I used to buy up boxes of them from Amazon US. So this big box would arrive and I'd have 20 DVDs in there. But I had to have a specially adapted player that allowed me to play Region 1 DVDs. So as I moved into Blu-ray and stuff, that issue went away. So I was using this it was a Denon. It was a very expensive DVD player. I was using it less and less and less at the point where I got rid of it. And obviously then all those Region 1 DVDs were obsolete because I had nothing to play them on. So Blu-ray was great. Again, the uptick in the picture quality, brilliant. 4K, absolutely love 4K. Lucky enough to have picked up it's not true 4K, but it's upscales to 4K, a laser projector. Picked up about 4 years ago, and I think that's really kind of kicked in the need to have those critical movies. And movies are such a massive part of my life. You couldn't have a conversation with me for more than half an hour without me throwing in an 80s movie quote or something like that. It's in my soul, it's in my heart. And so there are so many Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Back to the Future. So I've loved it when all these 4Ks have come along. And as Chris said, there's the odd bum one. I personally I'm not as annoyed with the Cameron stuff. I actually kind of like Aliens. Still a great movie, and I don't mind it looking like it was shot last week. So, and to me, I need to own those movies. I couldn't, apart from the fact that there obviously is the odd thing that you just can't get anywhere. And obviously we've got, I pay for Netflix, I pay for Disney, I have Apple, occasionally I have Amazon, but I'm not also then going to pay for Paramount. I mean, I don't even know what you watch Warner Brothers on in this country. Jim, do you know? Is it Sky? Where would you even get Warner Brothers stuff? I don't know, because I don't think we can stream them separately.
Think Sky would be the one, yeah.
So, and I don't pay for Sky. So, I have to own them. And I have kind of, so I pick those classics that I need. But as a new film comes along, I'll read a review, and because I've got the projector and because I'm able to, watching these things at 120 inches or whatever, I think you really do appreciate, although my projector isn't true 4K, and one day I'd like to be able to afford to buy a true 4K projector, but you're looking at, probably £12,000 for a decent one. Sure. So that's a pipe dream at the moment. But I just appreciate having the obviously the extra coding that they have, the detail they've got in them. So I start to look at, once I've kind of got my core collection, I start to look at films that are kind of known for their cinematography, for how beautiful they are, how well they were shot and stuff like that. So I'll buy some sort of more obscure stuff, and I'll watch it and I'll enjoy kind of just that whole cinema feel, and it kind of just, enveloping your entire kind of sort of vision and stuff. So we just watched Prometheus and Alien Covenant in preparation for watching Alien Earth, and yeah, really enjoyed the Covenant. I hadn't watched it for a while. I didn't think it was a bad movie actually, but the picture and sound on it, Dolby Atmos as well. I know that did come in on some Blu-rays, but Dolby Atmos and the picture quality was just incredible, and it just feels like it's just a real experience. It's like it's like going to the cinema, but without all the annoying people and mobile phones and all that kind of thing. So for me, yeah, I'll always own something. I mean, the thousands that I've spent on upgrading. I mean, God knows how many times I've bought Star Wars from VHS through DVD through Blu-ray, but I don't mind because they're that important to me. And I think as much as 8K exists, I don't think many people own an 8K TV. I think nothing's ever come of it. You might be able to stream the odd thing on YouTube or something, but you just physically can't get it. And I think we've all found that sweet spot. And if I'm watching something 120 inches and I think it looks perfect, I'm not going to, even at that size, I'm not going to get anything extra from 8K. So I think this is the sweet spot, and I hope that they don't bring out 8K as a thing. Yeah, have it as like, broadcasting the Olympics or something if you want to, but I almost don't want them to bring out physical 8K, because then you feel like, well, should I buy it and see if I can tell? It kind of, the hype kind of pulls you in. So I'd be happy if 4K was the pinnacle, and as Chris said, that they hold some kind of inherent value as well.
If I could give you a little bit of comfort, Pete.
Yep.
Up till this point, not very much has even been shot on source media in 8K. So like, it's anything that's earlier than made tomorrow. You don't need 8K versions of it if they are released at some point in the future.
Yeah, I think wasn't it? It's like Japan or somewhere broadcast one of the World Cups or something, football World Cups in 8K, but it's just gone away now. You don't even really hear anyone talk about it or read about it or anything like that. So as a technology, great that you can do it, but I think, as you said, it's redundant in 99% of everything that's ever been filmed. So yeah,
100%.
It's
oh, sorry, go ahead.
It's ironic, as we're having this discussion, my internet went out and
and you lost all your DVDs.
I lost everything.
They're all gone.
I think what I miss the most about physical media, and it's tied in, but it's about going to the actual physical media stores. Like I would go to Tower Records, or when Best Buy really was aisles and aisles of DVDs and Blu-rays. And there's nothing I loved more than going on a Tuesday when I lived in Boston to Tower Records, and when they'd have the new release, sometimes if it's a movie I was really looking forward to, I would show up at midnight because they'd have a midnight sale, and I'd get that Blu-ray and I'd bring it back, and it was awesome. And I remember going to a place called Newbury Comics that is in Boston. They sell comic books and action figures, and they also had DVDs there, and they'd had stuff on sale. And that's where, again, you would just try something that you hadn't seen, but I'll $20, I'll buy it. Now to some extent, I do that now with digital. The new Mission Impossible just came out on digital. I haven't seen it in the theaters, but it's $20. All right, well that's cheaper than the three of us getting movie tickets.
Absolutely,
I'll just buy it. If it's good, it's good. If it's not, oh well, so what?
Yeah, true. JB Velo put an interesting comment here, said, I remember buying a VHS of The Abyss back in the 90s, threw it in my state-of-the-art Panasonic VHS player, and nothing. It was a blank set. Had to wait for a replacement. And it's interesting because I had a similar experience a couple years ago with my old box set of Star Wars VHSs. My brother has a VHS player, and I was like, I wonder if these still work. So I put Empire Strikes Back in the VHS player, and my other younger brother, Jacob, had somehow recorded over the Empire Strikes Back VHS and was just like a recording of my old dad, like my dad's old living room. I don't know if he was like testing a VHS camera at some point and somehow recorded over the movie, but yeah, right in the dead center of that film.
Is it
now,
one that you recorded yourself or a retail?
Yeah, no, it was he recorded it over the retail copy.
Yeah, but he must have.
Spec.
They're like the cassettes. You have to have put some tape over the thing on the corner.
I don't know how he did it.
So he did that deliberately.
Footage of him walking around the living room.
You can't with the retail copy. You can't do that accidentally. You've got to put some tape over that little bit in the corner.
I didn't know that. News to me.
Yeah.
It was definitely messed up. I was so pissed. I was like, dude, like that's. I mean, I'm not gonna watch it ever again on VHS, but still, like it would have been cool to have still own, right? So, anyways, guys, let's move on
because I remember my dad used to. Yeah.
No, go ahead. So go ahead, buddy.
I was gonna say my dad used to have he used to record loads of stuff, and he'd deliberately that's right. You had to if you flick the tab out, then you couldn't record over it, and you had to put the tape back on. But I reckon they did that on purpose. Definitely,
he must have done it on purpose.
Yeah,
you have to see it. Guys, we have 6-scale news to talk about too, so let's move on here. I do want to do some quick housekeeping. If you are part of our Hall of Nut Armor, I'm going to be putting up a voting poll for all of our channel members here within the next couple days of what you would like to see as your new tier nut character. So we've had a couple of Spider-Man requests. We've had a couple different requests actually overall. So Spider-Man, X-Men, some Marvel characters. So if you are a channel member, look for that poll to go up in my YouTube comments there soon, so you can vote on your next nut sticker. Additionally, the Nut Kings, all of you who are Nut Kings who have stickers on the way, I finally got those in the mail last week. I had to re-envelope them all, unfortunately, because the post office would not accept the silver Sharpie that I'd written with on the envelope. They were like, it's not legible enough, you need to redo them. So I apologize, I'm a week extra to getting those out, but you guys should start seeing those in your mailboxes here within the next week if you are a Nut King filled with pretty cool stickers. These are our member emojis. If you are a channel member, feel free to throw those in the chat, guys, to show that you're a channel member. And then lastly, of course, if you are a Nut King, or if you want to upgrade your channel membership to the Nut King membership, you will receive those stickers, like I mentioned, everything that's on this slide. Feel free to pause the video here if you're watching on replay, or scan the QR code to give your information. Again, you have to be a Nut King, but if you are a Nut King and you have not given me your address information with this QR code, please do so I can make sure that you guys get stickers in the mail as well. All of our classy nuts and Nut Kings, thank you so much for being channel members as well. But guys, I do want to say a quick hello to our chat, and then we're going to jump into some 6-scale news.
Is that everyone? What do you want more?
Nuts!
Assemble.
Nuts assemble. Let's see who is here with us. We have Mr. Ron E saying, one of our great channel members, looks like I have to miss the show today. Have a great stream. Wonder Woman needs work. Wednesday is a yes. Peacemaker is a pass. Cool Darth Vader. And yes, someone should make a turtle line. Look at that. We don't even have to do the rest of the show. That summarizes it all right there. You love to see it. I feel very similar in many ways. But Ron E also gave us a $5 super chat, dude. So thank you so much. Sorry you couldn't make it to the show today. Hopefully you're enjoying the show at some point in the future on replay. But thank you also for your generosity when it comes, of course, to super chats. Any super chat, guys, just so you know, that's what goes into those stickers, as well as giveaways and all of the above. So, I was going to end the show right now, Ron, but since you gave me 5, this is for you.
I'll stay.
I will stay. Dude, thank you so much, man. I definitely appreciate it there. Who else do we got? We got Valkyrie Magnus in the chat. Says, hey, Ben Thomas Show. Sorry I won't be able to watch today. My family's taking me out for birthday. Have a great stream. Eric, Valkyrie Magnus, happy birthday, good sir. If everybody in the chat can throw in a happy birthday for Valkyrie, I would definitely appreciate that. But dude, hope you're having a great day with your family, and we'll catch you on the next one, buddy, as well. Mr. Curtis Booth here in the chat with woo woo. I'm finally able to make it. Hopefully you're doing well. My Vader has been 30 minutes from my house all weekend, and I'll get him tomorrow. That's terrible. That's the worst, man, when it's locked up somewhere in a post office. We got Mr. Jose Plus in the chat with us as well. Hey, buddy, good to see you, my friend. Mr. One Adam 12th here on the panel, as well as in the chat. Of course, you love to see it. We got Vida, aka Her Geeky Side, with us here in the panel, as well as in the chat. Always a pleasure to have you back, my friend, as always. And of course, Jim, a collector, with us here as well, and all the same feelings for you, my friend. Thanks for being here, buddy. King Dingaling as well. What's up, Ben? He says, and he's of course one of our channel members. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're having a great day. We got Mr. Big Reap, as Dean would say, with a what's up, Ben? Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for being here as always. Let's see here, Mr. 12-inch Moose Stream, with all of those orders on hand. Hello, community of collectors. Mondo animated Clayface to be unboxed. That is going to be crazy. I can't wait to see that figure. We got Stacy Jedi 291. Hello from Saskatoon. Happy Sunday. Good to see you, fellow Canadian. Saskatoon is only a couple hours away from me. That's pretty cool. Good to have you here. We got Fig Poser in the chat. What up, though? Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for being here. Mr. Chris Porteous, of course, on the channel, as well as in the channel membership, as well as in the chat. You'll love to see it. We got Last Star Fighter. What's it? Yeah, that's right. Last Star Fighter says, some of these must just be extended cameos, or is this movie going to be 6 hours long? Talking, of course, about Doomsday, and I feel that as well. We got Robert in the chat. Feel to burn. Love to see you, buddy. Thanks for being here, as always. And, of course, he does like Halle Berry. So Storm is his girl, and I am excited to see her make a return. She was badass in John Wick as well. So like she's still got some great time in her. So we got Figurecraft, Mr. Philly here. He says, everyone hit that like and let's get nutty. Dude, thanks for that as always. We got Mr. Mike Litoris in the chat here. Now whenever I see this figure in anybody's collection, all I think of is you, Mike. So you can never change this screenshot. But says she was great, but she went down. But she went her own way at the end of the film, and that's that. No need to bring her back with regards to Catwoman, of course. So we got JB Velo in the chat with us. Good to see you here as well. We got Leon S. Kennedy in the chat. 2027, way too late. Hype is gone. You hate to see it. Let's see here. Thanks for bearing with me, guys, while I make sure I say hi to everybody. We got Mark P. in the chat. Hey, collectors, good to see you here. We got Luis Pop Culture Relics with us, saying, asking how everybody's doing, what's going on, everyone. We got Mitchell Lawrence in the chat. Good to see you here as well, my friend. He says, I pre-ordered this TMNT 4K. I am not missing out, as it's an Arrow release. What is an Arrow release? Maybe, can you guys, do you know? I'm not too sure what that means.
It's just a company that does awesome physical media releases, kind of like Shout Factory. You got a lot of good bonus features and beautiful extras and a lot of attention to detail on the transfer, so it's good stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that down. I've never heard of that before. Thanks for letting us know. And good shout out there, Chris. I appreciate that. Yomo in the chat with us. I just got the Steel Book for Small Soldiers. That's pretty wild. I gotta rewatch that movie, man. It's been a while since I've seen it. Pete Nick in the chat. They flip a switch and you don't own it. Yeah, that's part of my concern with digital as well. Random Korean digital would be fine for me if it's downloadable. Yeah, that's fair. It's something that you can put on your own physical device as a result. Maybe that's that's an option. I think that's almost everybody, guys. Let me just do one more quick check here. Pete Cass, of course, in the chat and on the panel with us. I still have my special edition VHS tapes, plus the widescreen version of versions that came directly before those, the original cuts. Nothing to play them on, but nice to just have a display on the shelf. 100%, dude. Blur Dad Life in the chat with us as well, buddy. Good to see you here. One of our channel members, of course, as well. One Adam 12th and Don Matan. What's up, fellow collectors? Can we get a Nutbuster Hulkbuster emoji? Hey, you know what? You are a channel member, so when I put up the vote, make sure you vote, buddy. That would be a cool one, honestly. That's a great call. Let us move on here. Peacemaker has been teased by Hot Toys, and it's in tandem, of course, with the first episode of season 2 that's now out. If you've seen the first episode, please keep it spoiler free. I have seen the first episode, but it's only been a couple days. Let everybody have a chance to watch it. Overall, just kind of a brief synopsis of the first episode of the second season. I really liked it. It's got some pretty crazy scenes. If you have kids, maybe don't watch it with them. Honestly, there's some near the mark scenes in it, I would say. So you've been warned. You've been warned. But overall, I mean, I love John Cena, especially as Peacemaker. Honestly, like when Peacemaker originally was announced, I didn't really like him in the Suicide Squad. He was kind of a dick in that movie. And when he kills Rick Flag, I was also kind of like, oh, okay, like what the hell? And then he was getting his own show. And I'm like, I don't know, man. He felt kind of almost like a villain in that movie. I didn't want to see it. And then I loved the first season and have been excited for second season. And I did buy that original figure. Now, the interesting part, if you guys remember with the original figure, was when they first showed that original figure, it had jointed arms, the body wasn't very large, like it just didn't look very good. So a lot of people were like, screw it, there's no chance I'm buying that. And I was in that boat until they did this huge upgrade where they changed the body, seamless. He was so much more physical and imposing in his outfit, and they adjusted the faceplate underneath, and it looked so much more like John Cena. But of course, that first figure did not come with a head sculpt, and that was a big complaint back then. A lot of collectors at the time went out and got a third-party head sculpt done up or made or custom made so that they could put it on their Peacemaker figure. Now, of course, it's been a couple years, at least I think probably 2 years, maybe less, since that first figure came out and was in people's collections, and I know some people have already moved away from it. Now, with this tease, we're not getting a lot with it, but we can see that it obviously comes with a John Cena head sculpt, so that's a big win, and a jetpack on the back. Everything else looks pretty damn the same. So I'll be curious for you guys, is this one that you're excited about buying if you either don't have the original version, or are you thinking about making the change, like upgrading your current figure? Adam, we'll start with you, buddy. What are your thoughts here on Peacemaker?
I love the first season. I really liked his cameo in Superman, and I saw the first episode. I really enjoyed it. I did not get the initial figure because it didn't come with the head sculpt, and I figured maybe down the road they're going to do what they're doing now. So I'm intrigued by it. This is not the best tease in my opinion, but I got to reserve judgment until they actually show the figure. I'm on the fence whether I'm going to get it, because part of me is like, yeah, I really love his character, love the show, but then does this get me down a rabbit hole of, I have Superman figures and I have Batman. Is this now going to lead me down a DC rabbit hole? And do I want to go down that way?
Right.
I don't know, but I'm going to reserve judgment until the figure's out and I see more of this season.
That's fair. And I hate when they show the back of his head, because it's like, even that angle is not the greatest, right? Because you can see the neckline and everything, and I hate seeing that on a figure. And it's hard to know like how dialed in it'll be. Like, he's got such a unique face though, so I feel like they can probably nail it pretty aggressively. Jim, Vita, did you get the original figure? Have you enjoyed Peacemaker season 1 or any of season 2 if you've seen it yet? And is this a figure you'd be considering once it goes up for order?
So we tried watching the first season earlier this year, I think, and yeah, and for whatever reason we just couldn't get into it. If I'm being completely honest, it didn't capture us as much. I don't know if that's because I just heard so many people saying, "Oh, it's amazing! You need to watch it. It's incredible."
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know if my head was hyping something up, because like you said, I didn't really like him much in the Suicide Squad 2 at all. So I was expecting to see something, I don't know, like quite interesting character development wise. And I'll be honest, we haven't finished it, so maybe that happens and we just haven't seen it yet. But we stopped watching it probably like 4 episodes in. Just there was other things that we wanted to watch a bit more. So it's probably not one that I'm gonna pick up, but we will at some point finish season 1 and get through it, because you need to see the whole show, I think, most of the time to get a real good idea if you think it's good or not. And it's one of those things, maybe it was just we weren't in the mood at that time, but I don't know, I wasn't following onto it. It felt a bit too goofy. I think you were saying the same kind of things. So it's not something that we're massively excited about. Unless you have anything, unless I've missed the mark. What do you think?
I think you liked it more than I did. I really struggled.
Funny moments.
I really struggled to get into it. I think I was like falling off. Like my interest was just going away much sooner than yours, and I was just really tried to like watch it and kind of be interested in the show. But I really struggled. As James said, I think it's too goofy for me. I like certain goofy stuff, but just this wasn't my preference, I would say, or something. As Jim said, maybe we will try to rewatch it. I'll see, maybe we in different headspace or whatever. But my first thoughts weren't great. Like I didn't enjoy it, and I was like, oh, there's so much more I want to see, and I feel like I almost wasting my time. And I was like constantly reaching for my phone instead.
Yeah, same.
And I was just like not paying attention at some points, and I would, be like, oh, what happened here? I was like, oh, doesn't matter really. So I think we just stopped and moved on to maybe come back later.
Yeah, I think we'll give it another try, and then season 2. I'm not even sure where we can watch season 2 because that's we didn't watch the first series when it came out because we didn't have access.
It's on Sky.
It's on Sky. Okay,
Yes.
cool. There we go.
I've never even heard of Sky, if I'm being honest. But
Oh,
sounds
it's
fancy.
like our biggest TV provider, essentially.
Okay.
Like, they do internet, and then you get like TV, and you can add Netflix and Disney and stuff to it as well. It's like a package thing.
That's fair. That's fair. Chris, I'll quickly ask you on this one because I know you don't collect a ton of Hot Toys, but sometimes they'll give us a tease like this, and then we never actually end up getting the figure. It happens quite a bit. And, you know, when we see teases like this, it feels like we should immediately get it. Like, this is what happened with the Wednesday figure, which we'll talk about a little bit later. We got a tease for her, and then she did come out kind of within the same week, but we still haven't seen this pop up yet. Does the tease like this for a Hot Toys figure get you excited? You know, if maybe it was a character that you were wanting more, it doesn't have to be Peacemaker, if maybe it's a Star Wars figure. Do you feel that disappointment for people if it never comes, or do you feel like this is usually a pretty good guarantee that it is on the way? Is this something you'd be interested in getting?
Do we know what's going on with those arms, man? Do we like, is that gonna be like silicone, or is that like a fixed piece, kind of like your power pose guys? Like,
No,
if you had to
they're-
guess.
they're- well, the previous version of this figure has seamless arms just
Okay.
like this, and they're like squishy. So, like, I would say it's like the medical grade silicone.
And so it's the same arms, probably. Like, have they
Probably.
lived? Like, are they
Oh, yeah.
splitting on people?
No, not at all. In fact, my figure is looking really good.
That's cool. I'm guessing that, you know, they're probably paying more because of the likeness rights on this one. So, yeah, they got to gauge the interest, man, to see if it's worth it.
Yeah, you see how like you can, like they're squishy, which is pretty cool. But I've had him up in this pose at least, basically like kind of pointing up at me in the display.
Well,
And I mean,
Ben,
it's a great looking figure.
that elbow is not bent, though. You know, that's a safe pose for that arm, bro.
It's a pretty safe
That's-
pose. It is a pretty safe pose. He's a beefy dude, man. He's a beefy
Yeah.
dude. It's a great figure.
Oh, that looks good, but I guess there's not enough of the face showing that they had to pay likeness rights, or what the deal with that is. Because you'd think if they have the lower half of the face, they're halfway there, and there'd be some concern about likeness rights. But I don't know, man. I kind of like that. I like that Hot Toys teases stuff that sometimes never comes out. You know, it creates a little bit of it lights a fire under people. It creates a little bit of mystery. Like, stuff gets put on the back burner for years. That I think it's funny and interesting, to be honest. It doesn't bother me at all at all, because I don't buy a lot of it. So yeah, man, it's all good. But you know, this looks cool. If people haven't been complaining about those arms splitting, that's good times. I know, like with there was like a Clone Wars Ahsoka figure where the elbows were giving people a lot of issues, and I'm sure it's the same material. So maybe just because his arms are so girthy by comparison, that you're not having the
Yeah.
same issues. I don't know, but yeah, man, it doesn't bother me if it never comes out.
That's fair. He is
all
a
good.
huge figure. He is a huge figure, I will say. The Black Adam Rock figure is even bigger, but he doesn't have like exposed arms in the same way. But I mean, yeah, like I do think this looks like a lot like here. Maybe I'll do my full screen again real quick. But like, I do see John Cena in that sculpt,
Yeah,
like
so maybe
quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
they paid the rights. Yeah.
100%. Like they did a great job with it, and that was part of the upgrade, as I said, when they upgraded it from the first version that we saw that had like seam jointed arms and stuff, and it was a terrible looking representation of the character. So you know, I've seen a couple people in the chat. Yomo said he hopes for a vigilante. I would definitely be down for a vigilante as well. And potentially some of the other characters that have already shown up in the first episode. But you know, to Jim and Vita's point, I can understand why this show wouldn't necessarily be for everybody either. I don't think it's going to be too impactful of a cog on the wheel of the DC universe overall. I think we'll see Peacemaker in the background quite a bit. I think he'll be definitely a little bit of comedic in you know, entry into the world of the DC universe. But I mean, I don't think it's necessary viewing. If it doesn't grab you that much in the beginning, then yeah, don't waste your time. There's go outside or get some fresh air or watch something else or do pretty much anything, right? So, but Chris, I want to stick with you first on this next one as well, because Darth Vader has been put out for release, and this is like the significantly battle damaged version of Vader that isn't necessarily like a canon movie representation, a little bit more of like an artistic representation, I would say. It comes with this wildly cool cape that definitely resembles some of the Mythos statues that we've seen in the past, so I think that's very, very cool. Definitely a huge footprint in the display. As well as some really freaking gnarly battle damage on this guy. I think this little chunk of mask piece is a little bit funny, like in terms of display. I think I would either have it with a battle damaged mask piece or fully exposed. But it's cool that it comes with kind of the 3 different looks. And then under the natural lighting, you can see just like the body, like it looks like he's like pepperoni skin. Like it's just like, it looks really rough and gnarly. So I thought this was really cool. And this was one that I had pre-ordered. And then I actually canceled because at the time I thought to myself, how many Vaders do I really need, right? Like really, like for me, I love Vader, but how many Vaders do I actually need? I already have the Kenobi Vader and I have the Empire Strikes Back Vader, and I'm already consistently thinking about, I just need to downgrade to 1. I just need 1 Vader in my display. But some people are also saying that this is a definitive representation of Vader because that we get to see just how battle damaged he can be and how cool it looks. And this is replacing that Kenobi Vader for a couple people out there as well because of that slashed mask. So what are your thoughts here, buddy? Was this one that you're like, I know you're a huge Star Wars fan, you're like, damn, that could be a definitive Vader there for me, or not? What are your thoughts, bud?
Yeah, man. Anything that replaces Kenobi series figures in people's collections is a big W for me because that's the worst Star Wars product that has ever been put on Disney Plus. But this is cool because it's like, when did you get a Hayden styled Vader with this much battle damage in Star Wars history? There's kind of only one place, and that's the first Force Unleashed video game, the end of the game. You get it sort of looks like Hayden, and he's got the exposed like robot leg there, and that game is good stuff. And earlier this year we got the Sith version of Starkiller from that game, which was DLC. I would be a lot more tempted to get this if they had released, and I know this isn't officially from The Force Unleashed, but it's the closest thing, and it's not actually in Star Wars canon anymore because Disney, ruins everything they touch. But it's the closest thing ever in Star Wars that has come to this representation. So like, if they had put out a Star Killer that actually had Sam Witwer's likeness and how he looks like for 90% of the game versus the Sith version, I would be tempted to pair those two because the iconic duel at the end of the game where you almost wreck Vader and replace him as the Emperor's apprentice. It's good stuff, man. And this really reminds me of that, especially when you see that left leg with the sort of fully exposed robot joints. This is very cool. I don't. It's obviously, and it sort of is like the Mythos style where it's not directly from anything per se. But I feel like the extreme battle damage does make that Kenobi figure feel a little bit redundant. And if you're gonna have more than one Vader, this is a more drastic look change than the partially battle damaged Kenobi one. Like I could see you having the ESB and this, and I find this more exciting than that episode 3 one on the Frankenstein table, if I'm being honest. This is pretty cool.
I forgot about the Frankenstein table one. Yeah, man, like there's so many Vaders, it's crazy. Just real quick, do you have a definitive Vader? Like if you could only get one, what's your definitive Vader?
ESB.
It would be ESB. Okay, yeah, me too. That's the one that I look at all the time. The helmet sits a little high on him, but he's a freaking great figure. Pete, what about you, buddy? What's your definitive Vader? What was your thoughts on this one when it popped up for release? Because it's a pretty sweet looking figure, and I do agree. It was a damn shame we didn't get the Starkiller unmasked look from the game as well. That's a damn shame. But what are your thoughts here, buddy? And do you have a definitive Vader?
Yeah, I like this. I can appreciate the kind of the look of it and everything, and obviously to have the full unmasked Hayden head is cool. I do own the Kenobi one. I do like it's a nice figure. Series was, take it or leave it kind of thing. But so I've got that. I've got the original A New Hope one, which is alright. It's not falling apart. It's in good nick.
Nice.
I've got Rogue One, which was like for a long time was people's favourite kind of rendition of Vader. But I think for me, it would be I've got the Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary one with the unmasked head. So that for me is kind of, if I had to get rid of all of them apart from one, I'd be keeping the Return of the Jedi one. So I won't be buying this, but I think it's a custom that a lot of people have been doing for years now, a kind of fully, battle damaged Vader from a kind of like untold, story kind of thing with the full metal leg and the Hayden sculpt and everything. So I think it ticks a lot of boxes for people that have been either spent a lot of money on a custom, because I think Ian did a few of these for people. 3D printing the head and battle damage in the outfits and things. So I think, for me, I'm a bit like Shane. It has to have been represented on the screen, either in obviously movies to start with, but okay, the TV shows as well. Not big on the kind of the mythos thing where it's kind of like an Elseworlds kind of what might have happened, but objectively, I can look at the figure and say, it looks really good, and I think anyone that picks it up, it's a fantastic figure. It's going to look really good on the shelf. But you're going to have to get yourself, either a CCFL Saber or the more popular now, these Neo LED jobs, because obviously it's not going to look anything like this. And the light up sabers are still rubbish, even though they USB, so you can actually at least put them on and off remotely rather than having to pull up their sleeve and flick a stupid switch. They're still not very bright, so I think to give it its the full look, you need to kind of invest in a decent light up saber.
And it's definitely a little false advertising. Eh? Like they make them look so
they
perfect
do it
in these shots.
Yeah,
it's just like
do it over and over again. Anyone that knows. But they could draw someone in that wasn't a Hot Toys fan, wasn't used to this sort of thing, and they saw this and thought, "Wow, that's brilliant." And then they sit and go, "Oh."
I would think it was broken. I would think that it was broken in the box. So if I didn't know, and this was the first Vader I ever bought, and this is what I was expecting out of a saber, I'd be like, "What the hell is this?" What? Viking Collectibles, what's up? Good to see you, man. No, totally. Jim, and sorry, did you say what was your definitive Vader? If you had to just have one,
the Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary.
The Return of
the Toys,
Oh, I keep looking at that one. I
amazing.
I kind of want it, but the majority of my Star Wars display is Empire Strikes Back, though. So I think I got to stay in my lane on that. But
cool.
That's a great looking figure. It's a great looking figure. Vita and Jim, what do you think about Vader here? Fact that this looks a little bit like Anakin, but isn't necessarily. Very, very battle damaged, and just another opportunity to get Vader in your display. Do you have a definitive Vader in mind? If you were going to have one, do you even have a Vader? What are your thoughts?
I do have a Vader. He's actually just above my head right there at the moment. And sorry, Chris, but it is the Kenobi show Vader. So yeah,
I still think
and
it's a great looking.
I love it. This is the first ever Hot Toys I actually pre-ordered and arrived when I got started into the hobby. PO'd it from Pop Collectibles of all places, and it arrived super quick actually, ironically. But I love the Kenobi Vader, and I said figure-wise that probably would have been the Vader to have, just because you had the battle damage look and then the clean look, so it kind of fit both of those, both of that criteria. So if I want something to represent one of the older films, and I'm not as good as a lot of people at the minutiae, the detail differences between Vader's suits as other people, so that doesn't affect me as much as I think it would for other people. But saying that, I'm definitely going all in on this one. I love this one.
You are.
It just looks epic. It looks menacing. It looks powerful, kind of like everything that Vader should look like, right? Although it's not an accurate screen representation, but I absolutely love it. And I really enjoyed the Force Unleashed game as well. The first one. I never played the second one, but the first one was epic. So it fits that for me. You get free sculpts, and I actually quite like the look with the extra that extra bit of the mask left. I think that's probably my preferred one that I might go for.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So I do like that. And just as an art piece, it's quite striking, just with all the detail of the damaged skin, his robotic limbs. And I am a sucker for that kind of Vader cape that they have that kind of shows part of his face. I just think that's going to be a really nice display piece. And because I already have a Vader Neo LED saber, that's probably what I'll use as well, just to display him with. Because I think, like Pete was saying, they'll look epic. And yeah, the ones you get with Hot Toys are not very good at all.
That one in behind you is very bright. That one looks awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wish the lights. I can't dim the lights on my case, so it never like stands out as much as I'd like. But they're really good. You get an app as well, so you can like change it. You can make it pulse and stuff like that. So, yeah, they're pretty cool.
Are you gonna?
I do like.
Are you gonna do the same thing for the mall underneath them, like at Darth Maul one as well?
I thought about it, but the Maul saber's expensive. It's like 140, 150 quid,
Holy
something like
crap.
that, maybe more. So it's not
like rebuying the
cheap to
figure.
do it. Oh, exactly that. So maybe down the line, but that would have to be a year where I haven't got many figures coming in, to justify the extra expense. So
Be just
we'll
like
see. That might be a
Christmas
down the line.
present, okay? Ideas,
That's
okay.
That's
yeah.
exactly why I started making my own CCFL sabers, because it just got I've
yeah, you
got so
did.
many of them. So yeah,
Just don't
Can you
burn your house
believe
down,
how
okay,
expensive?
Pete? Just be careful.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're fine. They're
Be safe.
absolutely fine.
Dude, can you believe that Sideshow premium formats used to come with quarter scale
Yeah,
CTFL
I know.
sabers for like 300
Wow.
bucks, the whole statue? Like my
But how many
God.
of those turned up broken though?
did not know.
Because they're
Well,
so fragile.
My shock tease still works after 15 years.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
Wow,
That's cool.
What can you do?
That's wild. And Vita, I don't want to skip you. Did you feel kind of the same way as Jim on this one? Like I saw you nodding when he was talking about the photography aspect of this figure and the one that you've got. Do you need more than one Vader in your display though, based on your take, or what do you think?
So I didn't know this is on Jim's pre-order list.
We
So
start
I
fights
found
on
out
Let's Get Nuts.
yesterday on the stream.
brilliant,
basically.
love it, rumbled.
And I was like, we have this on pre-order, great. So I actually didn't know much about this figure, if I'm honest. I'm in love with the Kenobi one. I love taking pictures of it. Funnily enough, it was the figure I hated initially taking pictures of. I literally, when I was taking my first pictures of that Vader figure, I said to James, "This is most horrible figure I ever taken pictures of. Like, I hate them all." And then they ended up being one of my favorite pictures I ever taken, if I'm honest. So I love that
Crazy.
figure. And when Jim yesterday was like, "Oh, I probably will get rid of that one," I was like, "No, you won't." Because I still, as epic as this one looks, I still prefer the Kenobi one. I can't even really explain
Damaged
why.
helmet more on that one, don't you? It kind of goes higher up.
It's not just that. Like, I can appreciate all the damage look and all the detail in it, but at the same time, if I want to create something more accurate, like
Yeah, that's fair.
something
that's fair.
more like relating to the movies, I feel like I can't use this figure because I'm all like, mostly I'm all for realism. I love my figures
Right,
to be as
versatility.
realistic as possible. Yeah, like, and I can appreciate that the figure like looks epic. So I mean, we're probably gonna have two Vaders for a while, and we will see how that goes.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
That's fair. Very well said. Very well said. I wanted to quickly shout out the movie canon, Mr. Geo, member for 20 months already. That's crazy, dude. I can't even believe I've even had a channel membership that long. So, dude, thank you so much for being part of it for so long, man. I appreciate it. And of course, I think most of y'all know about Geo and the movie canon. But if for some reason you do not, go over and check out the movie canon on YouTube. Awesome content over there. He puts in a lot of work for his panelists. Something that, to his credit, his guest intros outshine anything that I've seen on any other channel, if I'm being honest. He's done a lot of work to really make people feel very special when they join his panel, and I think that's a really lovely thing. So good job, buddy. Good job. Keep watching the movie canon, and I think oftentimes his show is after mine on Sunday evenings, or he's been moved to Friday now, I think.
He's now, for the most part, on Friday nights.
Friday night, yeah. So yeah, watch it on Friday night. Awesome show. If not, catch it on the replay. Give him a like. Love that dude. So awesome. Let's. Oh, you know what, Adam? I
just
didn't
make
get
one
you on this
comment
one.
on this?
Yeah, I didn't get you on this one.
So we had there's a great disturbance in the force. We have a thunderstorm here, so I think that's what's keeps knocking me off knocking my internet off here.
Every time you
And then
leave, we lose 20 viewers, and then you come back, and those people come back. I don't know what's going on, so you got to stick with us here, man.
The force is with me, I guess. So while the internet knocked out, Disney called me here, and they have a message for Chris. They said, Chris, the worst Disney streaming show is The Acolyte, and the Acolyte has a word with you. I actually the Obi-Wan series does have a lot of problems, particularly with the character of Reva, which might be one of the worst characters that's been on. Cool looking figure, but terribly written character. But everything I think with Obi-Wan and Anakin was fantastic in that show. The rest of it, not so great. So I don't know if I'm the best or the worst person to ask about this figure, because I already have 4 Darth Vaders, and I'm like a poster child for when is enough too much. When is it too much? I have the Empire Strikes Back, like you. I have the New Hope. I have the Obi-Wan Kenobi, which I really love, and then my favorite, and maybe what I think is the definitive Vader, like Pete, is the Return of the Jedi Vader, just because to me that's my favorite Star Wars film. Maybe not the best Star Wars film, that's Empire, but my favorite is Return of the Jedi. I do have this mythos or battle, whatever you call this figure, on pre-order. I also have the Vader on the table for Revenge of the Sith on pre-order too. So that'll be 6. I have 4.
Wow.
This one on pre-order, and I ordered the Vader on table. I mean, for Pete's sake, not you, Pete, but this saying, how many Vaders does one person need? I don't know.
In your defense, it is the greatest character in cinematic history. So you're yeah.
It truly is, and and I have like 3 or 4 Anakins. I don't know. I can't help myself when it comes to this character. Like you said, it is one of the greatest characters ever created.
You're a wild man.
I think this one looks, how I'm going to display it is with the mask completely off, and with that plastic cape. I think that's going to look really cool. I love the stand that it comes with. It's interesting to me that sometimes you might be able to tell some of the blogger photographers' true passions, because you can tell that they had someone who was really putting their heart and soul into giving some beautiful photos. These blogger photos are some of the best I've seen in for this figure. Like you guys are saying, I'm not sure it's going to. Some of the videos I've seen, it doesn't look as good as what you're seeing in the blogger photos, but it still looks fantastic. I think once I have this, and then once I have Vader on the table, I am done with Vader. No more Vader. Completely out. Until they make the one that talks. Then maybe I'll get that one.
The Darth verse. Like the Spider Verse, but it's the Darth
that's coming.
That's right. And Jim, this was Jim when he said to Vita, like, how dare you not like this Darth Vader that we have in our display.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Hate to see it, but then she got on board, so it was okay. So she force choked him back. He'll love to see it. No violence in this community, guys. We love you all. Let us know what your definitive Vader is in the comments down below. For me, I think it's always going to be Empire Strikes Back. If I only had one, which I think I'm going to scale back to, I think that's going to be the one that I keep. I'd be curious to see if they ever give us an upgraded 2.0 version of that figure. Maybe I would be interested down the line. But Pete, I might poke you on the saber as well, because I do need a better lit saber for my Vader, so something to maybe chat about offline. But let's move over to Wednesday Addams. We're going to burn through the next 2 a little bit faster, guys. So in the private chat, panelists, if you're just like not super excited about this or don't have much of a take, just let me know on the next couple here to keep everybody's respectful of everybody's time. But Wednesday was teased about 2 weeks ago, and then she has finally been put up for order. I did do a video on this, doing a bit more of a deep dive breakdown of my thoughts on her. The biggest challenge I think we always have when it comes to figures, especially nowadays, is we're so we see so many of them, and it's easy to be critical of figures, but like the artistry in the faces nowadays is pretty wonderful. When I think of Hot Toys from, even 5 to 6 years ago, the vast improvements in likeness are insane. And yet there are still some times where we'll look at a character and go, it's still just not there. And that was this one for me. I see Jenna Ortega in here at times, but I think it's missing on a couple areas. I don't think she has quite the butt chin that she actually has in real life in the figure, as well as the dimple just above her lip is not quite as defined. I think that's part of the likeness there, and I think there's something that's a little bit lost in the eyes. I think in the figure it gives her more of a cat's eye look, whereas in the figure, or in her reality I should say, she's got more rounded eyes, if I'm being honest. So otherwise, without a direct comparison, I think it's there. This came in at $310 though, which I think is honestly overpriced for this. It comes with the cello, which I think is cool. It comes with a cool umbrella. It comes with thing that's magnetically attachable to her with a couple of different like hand expressions. So that is cool. But $310 still feels really freaking high. And I don't know if it's just her likeness rights that cost so much, or the license, or who knows. But I think unless you're a huge Addams Family fan, there's a lot of people who haven't even seen this movie yet. So, or sorry, this television show, I should say. So I'll be curious. Let's just see here. Chris, have you had a chance to watch the new Wednesday television show, either the first season or the start of the second season? And was this ever something that you'd want to collect?
Yeah, I did watch season 1, and everybody should support Tim Burton because he's publicly come out and said that working with Disney was the worst experience of his life on Dumbo and he would never do it again. So like you got to give him props for that. And he's doing Addams Family, like that's, I kind of love it. I did enjoy the first season. But like you were saying, there's just maybe the hairstyle's just too tough for a non-rooted, like maybe they just couldn't win no matter. They probably tried doing it like a rooted version and tried this, and this was closer between the two, but it still just doesn't look quite right to me. I really enjoyed this first season. Haven't checked out the second season yet, but I hear what you're saying, that something just looks a little bit plasticky maybe about this, and it's just not quite selling it for me. So I would definitely not be interested in this, but it's a good show.
Yeah, it was a better show than I expected. I will be honest. When I first put it on, I didn't think that I would enjoy it. Then I ended up kind of just binge watching it right to the end. She only really has two expressions in the whole show, though. It's either this very stern look, or like just this kind of subtly cheeky smile when she's getting away with something. And for the price of $310, I would have liked to see an additional head sculpt expression, just for that little. Like she's getting away with, especially in this scene here where she's playing the cello and shit is just going crazy. She smiles just ever so slightly as it's happening, and it's like, damn, like there's that Wednesday fire. So I would have liked to see that maybe a little bit more, but it is interesting, like you say, with regards to Tim Burton as well. Most of his content that exists, or anything that he's really been attached to, I've enjoyed overall. I haven't watched the second season though. When the first season ended, I thought, oh, that would be a cool hot toy to have, and then. Honestly, like the hype has kind of died for me a little bit. We were talking about the hype with regards to Batman earlier, dying for people waiting until 2027. The hype on this one died for me a little bit. I don't feel like I need the figure anymore. So I'm going to watch the second season before I decide whether I actually want to buy this or not. Shout out to Rachel Miller. Lots of love over there as well. My stepdad had to get his appendix taken out this week. So my mom had called me the other night, from the hospital saying, oh, your stepdad is in surgery tonight, cross your fingers, right? Nobody's getting any younger and everything. So everybody was okay, thankfully. So, yeah, I've had my appendix out now too. And that sucks. That really sucks. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. So hope you guys are doing okay over there. Let's keep going with this one here. J&D has done their release of their Batman Armory set for $1,799, which is freaking insane. And J&D's getting a little bit of popularity again because a lot of people were really, really critical of the price point of J&D, which makes sense. They're really freaking expensive. But then some folks who have gotten the Joker recently have really liked it and are saying that it's now the definitive Joker. We talked about the J&D Two-Face last Let's Get Nuts episode a couple weeks ago, and that one looks pretty good, but again, very, very expensive option. And right around the corner, like this month, I'm hoping, we'll see the release of the Hot Toys variant of the Armory 2.0 set as well, which also comes with Bruce Wayne, Batman, and the Armory. So I put this slide up because on the left you can see the J&D is $17.99. The one on the right from Hot Toys that I do have on order and can't wait to get to upgrade my Batman with is $5.65, so significantly cheaper. And I was curious from you guys, anybody in the panel, if you're interested in J&D versus Hot Toys, or in the chat, guys, like, let us know. Do you have a J&D on the way of this? Because to me this seems stupidly priced. And honestly, if I took all of the pricing off and all of the marketing off, at least from this photo, I wouldn't be able to tell which one is which, just from what I can see here. Adam, what about you, buddy? What are your thoughts on J&D, the price points of these lines? Does it even make sense for collectors? Or is it really like Ferrari collectors? Is there a certain breed of folks that's meant for, not necessarily the general public?
I'm not going to demonetize you, but you know, if you are someone who's got an inordinate amount of, we'll say, FU money, that's the term, then you know, Godspeed, enjoy, just send it all around. Maybe everyone on the panel can get a little taste of that. That would be nice. I'm looking right now at the 1.0 Hot Toys Batman Armory that came with Alfred and Bruce Wayne in a Batman suit. I got it on eBay for like $400, $450. And doesn't look as good as the 2.0 that's coming out for Hot Toys. But you can't tell me that 1.0 that came out, I don't know, 8-10 years ago is that I paid $450 for, is that this one, the J&D, is worth $1,400 more than that. That you would get me to spend another $1,400. What I got, I'm looking here, it's 3 feet from me right now. Looks just as good to me, you know. The Bruce Wayne looks better than the one I got here, but it's not $1,400 worth. I think if you didn't have a chance to get that, and and you don't have the FU money, then I think the Hot Toys 2.0 is going to be just as nice. You know, listen, there's something for everyone. If someone wants a Ferrari, someone wants the Lamborghini, that's cool. I'm going to buy the Honda.
Yeah, that's fair. Jim, how do you, like when you started kind of showing Vita collectibles, right, and getting her into it a little bit more, obviously she wasn't into it as much at first like you were. How did you justify things like price points to her of these collectibles? Because even just like a standard Hot Toys is like a pretty insane price overall. And then seeing figures like this now at the $17.99 range, that's even stupid money for me. Like there's no way that I could justify that. But how did you and Vita have the discussion around the price of these things consistently rolling in?
I think we really did, to be fair. I think I got into the hobby, started buying them, and then I think you could see I got a lot of enjoyment out of it from a photography aspect, and I was doing started YouTube and such at the time, so I think she saw the value of it in that more than anything. I've always considered myself a bit of like a creative person, and I needed like an outlet for it, and this kind of gave me that outlet. So I think she saw the value of it from there. When I first started collecting as well, and this is only, what am I, like 4 years in now, they were a lot cheaper than they are now. The prices increased a lot. I mean, it used to be in the 200s for a figure. And now it's in the threes, and some of them, like if you're looking at artisan and stuff, it can be in the fives. It's got more expensive as it's gone. I definitely don't have FU money to drop on a J&D piece. As good as they look, even the Jokers, I like them quite a lot, but I couldn't justify that kind of price. Even the single one, it's only, it's 800, I think, for the single. That's still a lot for a single figure. I mean,
insane.
With so much coming out now as well, that's like 2 to 3 figures just for the one, and I know I want to get other stuff. So then, does that become a drain on that? And then do I come to resent it? Because I'm like, oh, I also wanted to pick up this Alien figure, but now I can't because I have Joker and my budget's spent on that. So, yeah, I don't know. I think J&D's too rich for my blood, but they are nice looking pieces, and I like what they're offering in terms of a more premium option, and they do look pretty good.
See, the justification I have to myself, Vita, I'd be curious from you, is like being kind of a newer to the collecting kind of sphere still. You know, does it depend on the character, or is there a price point that you're like, I will not pay over this price point no matter how much I love the character? Because the Joker is that for me. I looked at getting the Heath Ledger Joker J&D at one point, and I even had him on pre-order, and then I lost $200 because I canceled it, right? That was a $200 NRD that I lost because I didn't like the first looks at it. And then, of course, they tweaked it and improved it, and it did look better. But I ended up going with what GB Velo is saying here with the John Woo off Instagram V2 head sculpt that I think is night and day better than anything that J&D or any other company so far has put out. And for a custom painted and rooted sculpt from John Woo, that was only still an additional $500, but it was still cheaper by $1,200 than me going with the J&D one that I was going to get. So for you, is it based on the character, or is there a price point that you just will not go over?
So for when I'm looking to get a figure for myself, the figure I like, it's the price point, my first priority. And overall, I struggle buying things for myself. I'm kind of a person who loves saving.
Frugal.
Yeah, I'm a frugal person. But when I'm buying the present, I don't care how much money I'm spending because I love to make a person happy. So when I was getting Jim a Superman for Christmas, I was like, yeah, that's fine, like great, because I knew how much he wants it, and I knew how much like happy he's gonna be when he's gonna open that box. Obviously, like I got the order, he straight away knew what he's getting for Christmas. It's like there's no way to hide it. We live in quite a small apartment, so I was like, there's no way I can really like hide it. So I just had to like wrap it up so he can't see what company the figure's from and etc. etc. But when it comes to buy it for myself, it's definitely the price point, and I don't love J&D Joker at all. I don't think it looks like Heath Ledger. So for me, that would be an easy pass. As you said, I saw the custom-made sculpt, and it was much better, and I think it was much more accurate, and I love Heath Ledger Joker. So having the Inart one, I really like it. And when there was like loads of heat when the Hot Toys came out as well, and everyone was saying that the Hot Toys are so much better, I'm still in the side of the people who prefers the Inart one. Because we had the, what you call it, how that one is called. My brain froze.
Oh, the Imposter Joker.
Yeah, we had an Imposter Joker, and like when you compare the side to side, yeah, like see, this is amazing. Like I can see Heath Ledger here.
Like 100%.
No problem. Yeah, exactly. It's just great.
Like, there was one custom like Heath Ledger Joker sculpt I inquired about that they were making. I was like, oh, how much is it? And it was like 1,400 quid. And I was just like, it looked incredible.
I remember you telling me.
I was just like, that's J&D price right there. But it was like a little shrink ray had been applied to like Heath Ledger. It was insanely good.
Yeah.
This one was 500
500
rooted and painted, and I thought that was again. This was saving me $1,200 over the J&D, which was crazy.
Yeah, that's fair.
I would go for this as well. If like I would have to choose one.
Epic.
Yeah, it's really good. So that's the only thing why it's hard for me to pre-order figures as well, because I need to see how they actually look when they out, and are they worth my money? So that's where like I struggle probably to like get in there and just drop the pre-order and be excited about it. So far, the only pre-order I really wanted was like Snape, so I got that one on pre-order.
Yeah.
But the rest,
That's
I'm
sweet.
always like, I don't like the likeness. Okay, I'll see if they're gonna tweak it. And I'm more like into that waiting game just to see if it's gonna be as good as they're saying it will be.
See, people call us, us YouTubers or panelists sometimes enablers, right? Because we talk about these figures and how much we love them. But I think half the time I'm trying to talk myself out of buying the majority of what we're looking at together, because I'm like, that's part of the reason I'm critical sometimes, because kind of like what you just said, Vita. I'm like, I can look at it and be like, oh, I like that character, I want it. Okay, but it's not quite there. Maybe if they tweak it just a little bit, then I can justify it. And you do these mental gymnastics as collectors sometimes, and then you have to also start looking at your display space. It was one of the reasons I was asking you guys about your Vaders, because you're similar collection to mine, where you have kind of the one, maybe two figures in behind you per square, and I like that clean, like really condensed aesthetic. But it doesn't take long to outgrow your space, and then what do you do, right? So having multiples of the same characters, you have to do these mental gymnastics. And even for the Joker, as much as I've spent money on Jokers, I now have already 4 Jokers in this collection room with that custom head sculpt on the way. So I'll have technically 5 Joker heads, and I only really need one really good one on display, right? So interesting. Figurecraft says Jim Vita is a keeper. The best I've gotten from my wife is a sweater, as well as your kids and all of the things, Philly. But I'm just putting it out there. Yeah, so I love you, buddy. So let's move on to our last topic of the day here, guys. Wonder Woman from Inart has been put up. Pre-order is going to start on the 27th, so that's this coming week of August 27th, 2025. I'll be honest, I saw this photo and I thought I thought it was AI rendered. I didn't think that it was actually the figure. I don't think that looks like Gal Gadot really at all. I think there's a lot of tweaking that they need to do in the face, and I love Inart, and so far of all the Inarts that I have, which is now 3 figures, I haven't been disappointed with any of them. Once I got them in hand, I thought they were beautiful artwork pieces. A little more expensive for sure, but really, really well done. But the Wonder Woman that I have is the Wonder Woman 84 representation, where I still think that is one of the best likenesses for Gal, in my opinion, and that's probably just the figure that I'm going to end up keeping in my display. But of course, if you like Inart, or you've been waiting for that next level variant of her, maybe the Inart's for you. Again, I think there's a lot of tweaking that needs to be done on the figure's face, especially. The body looks like they've nailed it. The outfit really looks like they've nailed it. Like, I think it's going to be great. But to me, it still needs some improvement. Adam, what do you think when you first saw this photo going up? Is this something that you're like, I need to see more before I buy, or before I consider it? Or are you thinking it's nailed? Or are you thinking it's off? Where are you?
Yeah, this is, I wanted to get the WB 100 Wonder Woman, but the price point is just, too rich for my blood. And I was looking at that yesterday, comparing it to this, and that one looks much more like Gal Gadot. This needs some work on the face. I mean, the rest of it, the body looks good, but I think the face needs some work before, because this is what I've been waiting for, and this is what I'd consider picking up. I have Cavill Man of Steel. I'm getting the Batfleck 2.0. It's shipping out on Friday, I believe, this coming Friday.
Yeah.
So I would like to have that Trinity, but I got to see what the final product looks like. This is one I'm not going to pre-order. I'm going to wait till it's released and just get it, in the wild.
I will say I have been very happy with all of the Inart hair so far. I think all the rooted hair that I've had with those figures is incredible. Pete, what do you think about Wonder Woman here? At least this tease photo sort of thing. Is this something that's got you hyped for the 27th, or do you still think it can?
No, not really. I think it looks okay. I had the original Hot Toys version of this figure, and that was okay. I think as time's gone by, I've kind of realised that I'm not really a massive fan of the whole Snyderverse and the looks for those characters. I think I agree with you. I think the 84 one looks better because it's got the vibrant pop to the colours, which is more like we're kind of used to seeing from the comic books, and from obviously with Linda Carter and stuff like that. So Yeah, I'm indifferent to this. I think I never want anyone to fail, and obviously, for the people that want this, I hope does become the definitive kind of representation of this character from this movie, because they are a lot of money, and particularly in art with the rooted hair. And yeah, if I was wanted this representation, then obviously I'd want this to be a kind of surefire hit. But yeah, not my kind of. The only DC stuff I've got now really is Superman, Batman, but like classic versions of. So certainly won't be picking it up. But yeah, it's always good to see what kind of art are coming out with next, and how they're delivering on stuff. And as you say, the universal thing seems to be that people are very pleased with how they do the rooted hair. And it's not a particularly difficult haircut considering some of the stuff they've done, with like the Harry Potter figures and things like that. So there's no reason kind of not to nail the hair really. But yeah, we'll see. It won't be one for me, but yeah, it'd be good to see some updated photos. I think was that on Wednesday, 27th.
The 27th, yeah, Wednesday, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
3 days from now. Yeah, that sounds about right. Last Starfighter says completes the BVS line with an Inart Superman and a Batfleck 2.0. Absolutely. One thing that I hate about my Wonder Woman 84 is in the boots, like the heels, there's a big screw right in the ankle. So if you have her leg turned sideways, it's a very visible screw holding her foot together, which I think is It's weird that they didn't find a way to hide that in some way
I
or another.
don't remember that from
really
the one I had, but it might have been
really
the same.
ugly. Body, yeah, does look incredible here. Now, Jim and Vita, either one or both. I know you guys just got your Paul Atreides in finally. I know you're feeling like you're one of the last people to finally get that figure, and your photos of that figure were amazing. So go over and check out these guys on their Instagram, both Jim and Vita for that. But the excitement of Inart, I think, is almost increasing from people. There was a lot of criticism of Inart in the beginning. Are they going to actually be able to walk the talk, meet the quality that they're telling people they will? And then as we've slowly got these figures in hand, I think they've all been pretty good. So when I saw this and I felt like the likeness for me was off, I almost felt disappointed because I was like, man, I expect Inart to just nail it every time. It's weird to me that I feel this way, but I could be wrong, or I could just be, it's art. We all see art differently. What did you guys think about this?
So when I first just saw the post and I saw the picture, I was like, oh my god, they finally doing it. But then obviously I looked at the face and I was like, well, that's disappointing. The other thing was I was like, okay, despite the likeness not being there, I was like, okay, it's actually the first figure I kind of happy looking at, because it doesn't look like Barbie. Like the pictures like displayed here are pretty good. Like the hair doesn't look like Barbie, like I grew up with Barbies, so I can't compare. And this is finally looks like quality, like the same like the male figures look when they are presented, like the detail, the body, the face. It's just, I don't know, like it's the first female figure I'm excited about. But definitely the face needs tweaking. And if they will do that, that's one of the figures I will be considering dropping the pre-order, because I just love the character itself, and I think it will complete our little line here nicely. So
Definitely. Jim, same kind of thoughts, or?
Yeah, pretty much. The head sculpt is quite disappointing. I think that likeness is one of the worst ones they've done. And what was the last figure they announced? Draco Malfoy as well. That was also another miss. So they seem to be off their game a little bit. But
A little bit.
I am quite confident, and yeah, we'll see more photos and we'll be able to kind of, decide from there a bit better. But I'm confident that if enough of us say this is crap, that they probably will go back to the drawing board and tweak it. They're doing it with Malfoy already. They've done it in the past. So I'm confident they'll do it. I mean, it's not a given. We mentioned this on the show yesterday. It's not a given, but I'd be fairly confident that they would probably tweak this, given enough backlash. They've shown evidence doing that before. I mean, even Hot Toys has done that before. Like you were talking about the Peacemaker earlier, so I'd be surprised if they don't tweak this because the lightness here looks pretty bad, to be honest. And I think what you said about everything else, the body looks really good. Her traps look like they could be a little bit bigger next to that reference photo.
Yeah,
But
like the collarbone. I
yeah,
suppose,
but you know, like
some particular
that's
poses in it.
nitpicking, isn't it? Let's face it, because the rest of it does look excellent. So yeah, I mean, this will be something that I'll leave to Vita to decide if she wants to pick up, because she's a big Wonder Woman fan. So yeah, we'll see.
We will see. Yeah.
JB says, JB Velo says the bodice looks way too short in the upper part too. Yeah, it needs to sit just under the underarm area. Oh yeah, I see.
true.
Kind of like right here. It's a little bit exposed
Actually,
there.
missed that
Very good
completely. Yeah.
Yeah, no, good observation. Really good observation. The thighs look like almost identical. Like that looks really amazing. And I agree in the collarbone. Also, they need to tan her up a little bit more. She's an Amazonian. She's outside all the time. Like, she's a little pale.
Half
Considering.
naked.
So
And,
yeah,
and,
she's a
and,
little,
dare,
yeah.
and dare I say it, I try and say it tastefully, but I think she maybe needs to go down a couple size as well. They look a little bit too,
A little too
which is,
aggressive.
You could
which
be
is
right,
been quite a common issue with female figures, I think, in the past.
especially in third party.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So I think there's definitely some work to do there, but yeah.
Yeah, well said, guys. That was awesome. Does anybody else have a thought on Inart or Wonder Woman, or before we wrap her up? All good, guys. That's the show today. I want to give Chris an opportunity to chat very briefly here. Let me just take this down. We'll pull this up here for you. Tell us a little bit about this, Chris.
Okay, so a little over a month ago, I was telling everybody on the show that if you're in the Ontario or upstate New York area, I am part of a little Star Wars themed convention going on called May the North Be With You. It's September 13th and 14th. 13th is for the hardcore nerds, which, they're few and far between, but we have a Star Wars themed toy show in the Toronto area, Holiday Inn Oakville, on September 14th, and we got an exclusive here for the Ben Thomas show. We are announcing that Paul Sun Hyung Lee, otherwise known as Carson Teva, from all my least favorite Disney Plus Star Wars programs, is now being added to our convention. And haters gonna hate. Maybe I don't like any of those shows, but there he is in an X-wing pilot uniform, and I'm not. So he's obviously cool. So
Be nice to him.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a Hot Toys collector.
Exactly. He didn't write the scripts, right? Like, he's cool. I've seen his YouTube. He has a great YouTube channel, by the way, where he reviews Hot Toys and stuff. But yeah, at this show we have 3 guys who worked on the original Star Wars film. We got Paul Blake, who played the Greedo in all the scenes where Greedo actually interacts with Harrison Ford. We have Jim Swearingen, who is basically the godfather of 3 3/4 figures. He's the reason why there is such a thing as 3 3/4 Star Wars figures. And Roger Christian, who won an Academy Award for a little film that was simply called Star Wars at the time for production design. And so, we got some cool guys showing up at that show, and we got a representation from the Disney era here. So if you're in upstate New York and it's a short drive for you, or if you're in the Southern Ontario area, please check out May the North Be With You. You can just rock up to the Holiday Inn Oakville on Sunday, September 14th, and pay your $5 or $10 or $15, depending if you want to get in early, and you have a good time and get some cool inside insights to the making of the original trilogy, and you can meet Paul Sun Hyung Lee there as well if you want to do that. And I also was recently on the Toying Around YouTube channel. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of him, but we were talking about the event over there. He's another Toronto guy who's a pretty big 1/12 collecting channel. And the last thing I wanted to plug for me is lately I've been doing a little bit of writing for heavy metal, and it's a bucket list thing for me. Like, I got in a little bit in the physical copy of issue 1 that came out recently. I think I'm back in issue 3 coming out in a month or 2, and I've got some articles on their website here. So if you check that out and click the artist tab, we have some great interviews with some recently featured artists in the magazine. And it's so great to see that comic book fantasy anthology with a little bit of edge come back. And they're 2 issues into this relaunch, and it's been a joy to be part of that so far. So yeah, if you're into some edgelord comic book stuff, you can check me out on heavymetal.com, where I have a few articles. But that's it.
Hell yeah, dude.
I'm gonna check that out. I used to get that. I used to get Starlog and a lot of magazines back in the day.
Yeah, man.
Chris, how far is this convention from Niagara Falls, Buffalo?
Dude, like 2 hours.
Approximately.
Get over here.
Because I live in Saratoga in the Albany area of New York.
It's from Niagara Falls, from the border. It's like an hour and 15 minutes. If you got your passport, come over, bro.
Cool.
That is very, very cool, dude. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Honestly, it's cool, just like with Let's Get Nuts, but like all of us having different kind of feelers out in the world for different types of media, and like getting in magazines and like Instagrams and all of the things, right? Like we all have passions, so it's cool to see that passion come into life for you, man. But thanks for being here on Let's Get Nuts today with us, of course, as well. Jim and Vita, anything coming up for you guys that you're excited about? And thank you so much for being here, of course, once again. Let me highlight here while you tell us about it. This is Her Geeky Side. Make sure you follow the Instagram page for Vita. Anything coming up for you, Vita, that you're excited for?
I think, as you mentioned before yourself, like in summertime, it's quite hard to keep consistent. So I'm hoping to do some more photography, obviously, and go back at posting it. Jim, I think, has coming up few videos, but we also been quite bad with what we started as a Jim and Vita Reacts, but it's just we were running out of time lately, so we haven't created many of those. So hopefully, as the summer goes away, we will get into a bit more. But yeah, the moment for me is just Instagram, and yeah, drop me a like.
Drop her a like. Her geeky. Oh, sorry. How did I say it here? One sec. Her Geeky Side. Yes. Okay. I thought I had that right. But and then Jim, for you, good sir. Anything coming up for you then? Jim, or she said that you have maybe a couple things on the way. What does that look like?
Yeah, so I've got unboxings on the back burner. I've got Emperor Palpatine, who's right behind me there, to go, as well as Paul Atreides, like you said, finally got that in. And of course, I'll do a unboxing of the Vader as well. And yeah, we do need to kind of get back into our Jim and Vita Reacts to the latest Hot Toys releases videos, because I quite enjoy making those. So yeah, we need to get back to it. It's just life's been a bit hectic, so it's gone on the back burner. And I really want to start taking more photography as well, because that's my main passion, I think, with this hobby, is the photography aspect of it. I really enjoy it. It's just a fun creative outlet, and I need to do more of that, and I need to get better at editing as well. I really want to learn how to use Photoshop, so that's on my bucket list of things to do this year. So I just need to kind of get in there and play around with it and see what I can learn. So yeah, that's about it from us, and thanks for having us as well.
And just a quick shout out, we're gonna be on the 24-hour stream on Master Menace. So we're gonna be a guest judges again. So we're gonna be part of that brilliant thing coming up. So we're looking forward to that as well.
Looking forward to that. That'd be good fun.
I'm glad you reminded me of that, because I do have to log in some folks for my stream as well. So if any of you guys out here are not committed to anywhere else for the 24-hour, let me know.
You any idea what the UK time will be of that, Ben?
I was thinking about you the other night for that, Pete. So let me take a look, and I'll get back to you.
Yeah, I think it might be like 5 a.m. or something here, which I could probably do.
Probably be pretty early.
It's 11 p.m. on Friday night. It's 11 p. Ben's show is 11 p.m. Eastern time. So you guys are 5 hours ahead of New York, I think.
Yeah. Okay,
so
it'd be pretty
4
early.
a.m. I guess.
Yeah, it might be possible. Yeah, let me know, Ben.
Sure.
I was going to chat to you about that. So yeah.
Yeah, I got to start figuring it out. I'm sometimes really bad with the whole actually planning. It's considering I'm a manager of a business and all of these other things. I for personal life sometimes I'm the worst at planning.
Yeah.
I'll definitely think about it. Jim, Vita, thank you again for being here and taking your time out of your evening. I know it's late for you guys there as well, so it's very, very appreciated with me always. Mr. One Adam 12th. You got your YouTube channel going here. You're going strong, man. 6K and higher subscribers already. Anything coming up for you on the channel that we can look forward to?
Yeah, we I have a couple of videos in the bag. Just gotta edit or post. Seems like Sideshow is drowning me in Star Wars figures that I ordered. They released them all at once. We had the new Return of the Jedi Han Solo. Hera is up there, and Shin Hati is coming up this week. Plus, I mentioned the Fan Expo, and we did a little. I gotta have assembled the footage and see if we actually have anything that's worth posting. But we did all 3 days. We took video and interviewed people at the Boston Fan Expo, and my daughter and my daughter cosplayed as I don't know if any of you have seen K-pop Demon Hunters. It's the hottest thing on Netflix right now.
Keep hearing about it. No, I haven't seen it yet, but I keep hearing it's awesome. Like
music is good. It's not
Okay.
really my thing. Emily had me sit down and watch it with her, and I did. It was good. It's again not my thing, but she loves it. And she met the actress who plays the lead character in that. She met at the convention, and so we have her. She's cosplaying as all these different characters. So we'll see if there's something there. Beyond that, I'm going to be on Gio's movie canon Friday night. I'm usually on his show, and if you're doing your show next Sunday, be happy to be there. If not, look forward to joining you on that 24-hour stream.
Hell yeah, dude. Love that. I'd be very, very excited for that, dude. So thanks for being here as always. Love to the family, of course. And Emily, keep her going with you, because she's one of my enjoyable parts of this as well. I always think it's really wholesome content, really fun to watch. So and great conversations while you guys do it. You guys are always like joking around and stuff, and there's some great humor in there. So so definitely check out One Adam 12 on YouTube. Dude, thanks for being here. Pete, anything coming up for you, man? Either on Collecting Weekly or just in life that you're excited about, good sir?
Who knows? Chris is always joking about nobody knows when OFAC is going to strike next. It's very much like that at the moment. I think Ian's a very difficult man to pin down at the moment, so he needs a little bit of kind of encouragement. So at the moment, we're probably running every 4 or 6 weeks, something like that. I'd like to do it more regularly, but it is what it is at the moment. So I enjoy having a kind of an outlet here as well, because it's one of the only other shows that runs at a fairly respectable time for me here. Collecting Weekly is just not possible or anything like that. So definitely we're still in the game. It's just a bit more sort of sporadic. But yeah, I'm about, and enjoy doing this show. So sorry, Chris, we had a little chat about it, and he'd love to coordinate with us, but you can't rely on us.
Dude, it's so funny. So like on the end of the last small talk, I was like, yeah, wouldn't it be great if CW Movie Night and OFAC could actually alternate Thursdays, but it's never gonna happen, and coordination is impossible. And like Pete thought I was really coming after him, but like I just gotta work on my tone, man.
Yeah,
he
was too convincing. Yeah.
I hate to see it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we always just want to help each other, which I do appreciate that. As I've said for years, the Let's Get Nuts show would not be what it is without everybody who's helped me on the panel. Like, it wouldn't be fun to just watch me sit here and ramble on for 2.5 hours. So couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much for taking time out of your Sunday to be here and joining us. And big shout out to all of our channel members, the Classy Nut crew: Alvin J, Honest Hansel, Money Mendez, Harry Dempsey, Six Scale Mafia, 1 Figure Focus, Parks Industries, King Dingaling, Jose G Hernandez, The Real Tex Conway, Collection Obsession, The Movie Canon, Figurecraft, Jim Collector, Don Maton, Alex Serrato, Pop Culture Relics, Daniel SC, Ryan Smith, Collector Joey, Sam Gist, Rachel Miller, Mike and Callie, Figure in a Bubble, Deguito, Blair Dad Life, Alex Serrato, Plizkin Incorporated, Andreas IB, Earth 616, Collector, Tony Tom, Saphira Cosplay, Aaron Broverman, Big Rib, as Dean would say, Big Dog Pound 1, Akira, Monroe Corbeil, Stoned Capybara, Vita aka Her Geeky Side, Field to Burn, Fig Poser, and to our Nut Kings, the Classy, SpongeBob SquareBalls, Miss That Guy, Collecting Weekly, The Batman, 12-Inch Moose Stream, X-Men Supreme, Peter Cass, Valkyrie Magnus, happy birthday, buddy, by the way, Ron E.
Yeah.
Thanks again for that super chat as well, Mr. Ron. One Adam 12, Sith Scale Collector, OG fan when Star Wars was just Star Wars, and I realized I'm missing an N on that. You hate to see it. Manny Fresh 369, Trevor Weed, Tijuana Mike, aka King Churro. If you guys want to become either a Classy Nut or a Nut King, just scan the QR code there in the description. But also, if you guys are just watching, if you're just new to the Ben Thomas Show, thank you so much. Hit the like button on the way out the door, guys, if you don't mind. Definitely appreciate it. The algorithm was really weird today. We had like 50 people watching, and then it kept jumping down to like 16, and then back to 55, and then down to 20, and then it was like, so either you guys are turning off your phones or the internet is weird. So physical media, it's coming after us. But guys, all that to say, I think it's appropriate. Vita, we got nuts. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Wow, what a great audience. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Because subscribing makes you feel good. What should I go? What should I do?
No one needs to see it.
It's gone. It's all gone.